Begonia Courtyard. It was finally here. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. Your good fortune is here. You must grasp it well. Xian Yanqing glanced at Lu Ming and said in a strange tone. Lu Ming smiled wryly and winked at Xian Yanqing. Then, he followed the maidservant and headed to Begonia Courtyard. Begonia Courtyard was located on another mountain peak with beautiful scenery. Although it was a courtyard, it was built in a luxurious way and occupied a large area. It could be said that this entire mountain peak was Begonia Courtyard's territory. There were even stone palaces built in the middle of the mountain. The maidservant led Lu Ming around the place and arrived at a stone hall. This stone palace was built in the middle of the mountain, so light couldn't directly shine in. The walls of the stone palace were inlaid with some luminous stones, making the stone palace look hazy. In the stone hall, there was a jade table and a few jade stools. On the jade table, there were already some spirit fruits, wine, and food. After the maidservant brought Lu Ming here, she left, leaving him alone in the stone hall. Lu Ming sized up his surroundings with great interest. Then, he picked up his glass, poured himself a glass of wine, and finished it in one gulp. Good wine! Lu Ming could not help but sigh in admiration. This wine was rich in taste. After it entered his stomach, he felt warm all over and it had an endless aftertaste. Since it's good wine, Brother Lu must drink a few more cups today. A sweet voice was heard, and Yun Haitang walked in. Today, Yun Haitang was wearing a black gauze dress and looked very beautiful. To be honest, Yun Haitang's figure was extremely impressive and was only slightly inferior to Mulan's. Any man would be tempted. Lu Ming was a normal man. Yun Haitang sat on the stone bench next to Lu Ming and smiled. Brother Lu, I gave you the right to come to Begonia Courtyard to find me at any time, but you didn't come after such a long time, and even asked this little sister to send someone to invite you. That's not very kind of you. You must drink 3 cups as a punishment. Yun Haitang poured a glass of wine for Lu Ming. She smiled sweetly and her voice was so sweet that it could penetrate one's heart. All right, you deserve to be punished. Lu Ming smiled, picked up the glass of wine, and drank it in one go. Then, Yun Haitang poured another glass of wine for Lu Ming. Just like that, Lu Ming drank 3 glasses in a row. I'm really impressed by Brother Lu's Tao of Inscription. I feel that even though you're only a 3rd-rank alchemist, your spiritual power should be on par with some 4th-rank alchemists. Could it be that you've lit 5 spiritual lamps at every rank? Yun Haitang blinked her big eyes and stared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled. Not bad. I'm lucky to have lit up 5 mental lamps in the first 2 levels. As soon as Lu Ming said this, Yun Haitang's eyes suddenly lit up. There was a flash of greed in the depths of her eyes. Brother Lu's talent is really admirable. Come, let me toast you. Yun Haitang picked up the glass and drank it all. After drinking the glass of wine, Yun Haitang's face immediately flushed red, making her look even more alluring. At this moment, a maidservant hurriedly walked in. Yun Haitang's face immediately darkened. Can't you see that I'm drinking with young Master Lu? What are you doing here? Miss. The maidservant's face paled, and a hint of fear appeared on her face. However, she still walked over and whispered a few words into Yun Haitang's ear. Yun Haitang's expression changed slightly. You may leave. The maidservant immediately took her leave. Brother Lu, I have a small matter to deal with. Wait for me here. Yun Haitang said in a sweet voice. All right, it's fine. Haitang, please do as you please. Lu Ming smiled. Yun Haitang stood up and left. Lu Ming picked up the glass of wine and took another sip. Then, he stood up and started to inscribe in the air with his hands. Runes appeared one after another and entered his body. This was an inscription formation that had been inscribed before to conceal one's aura. Although this formation wasn't very advanced, it had a unique effect in concealing one's aura. According to Dandan, this was its own creation. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, even a Sea of Soul Realm expert would not be able to sense his aura. Runes appeared on Lu Ming's body and disappeared in a flash. The aura on Lu Ming's body also disappeared without a trace. It was much more effective than him circulating his cultivation to hide his aura. Then, Lu Ming moved and left the stone hall. He passed through several corridors and secret rooms before he saw another stone hall. A voice came from the stone hall. Lu Ming dashed into the stone hall silently and hid in a corner. This stone hall was even bigger than the one Lu Ming had been in earlier. A young man was sitting at a table with Yun Haitang. "Haitang, I haven't seen you in a while. I've missed you so much. You see, I came to see you as soon as I finished my business." The young man looked at Yun Haitang, his eyes burning with anger. "You really missed me? You're not allowed to lie to me." Yun Haitang smiled and poured the young man a cup of wine. "Of course it's true. Sigh, if it weren't for the problem with my cultivation of mental fire recently, not only not making any progress, but also constantly regressing, I really don't want to leave. I want to stay here and accompany you." The young man said. "Your family's elders didn't find out the reason for your mental fire's regression?" Yun Haitang's eyes flashed as she asked in a sweet voice. "No, it's really strange." The young man mumbled. Then, his eyes fell on Yun Haitang with a burning desire. "I don't care. If my mental fire has regressed, so be it. As long as Haitang is here, even if I can't cultivate, it doesn't matter." As he spoke, the young man put his arm around Yun Haitang. The two of them were entangled. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He did not expect to encounter such a scene when he came to check on the situation. To be honest, this was the first time Lu Ming had seen such a situation. He touched his nose and watched with great interest. The young man's breathing became heavier and heavier. A moment later, the young man let out a low roar like a wild beast. At this moment, a scene that shocked Lu Ming appeared. 3 green spirit lamps appeared above the young man's head. On them were green spirit fire. This meant that the young man was a level 4 inscriber. Above Yun Haitang's head, a spirit lamp also appeared. There were 5 green spirit lamps. But at this time, Yun Haitang's spirit fire had actually gathered into a poisonous snake. It opened its mouth and sucked. The young man's spirit fire was absorbed by the poisonous snake and turned into Yun Haitang's spirit fire. "You're making me very awkward." The young man was currently immersed in happiness and did not notice his own abnormality at all. Yun Haitang's eyes flashed with crazy greed. That poisonous snake kept absorbing the young man's mental energy fire. The flames of the young man's 3 mind lamps quickly dimmed, especially the flame of the 3rd lamp, which was on the verge of being extinguished. It was no wonder that the young man had said that his mental fire was weakening, and that his cultivation of the mental fire was not advancing but regressing instead. He played this game with Yun Haitang every day, so it would be strange if he didn't leave. Moreover, he had not noticed it at all. Yun Haitang was using this method to cultivate her mental energy fire. Lu Ming felt a chill run down his spine. This process only took about a dozen breaths of time. The mental energy fire above their heads had hidden and disappeared. The young man was like a pile of mud, lying limply on the ground. "You rest here for a while, I still have something to deal with," Yun Haitang said to the young man. The young man nodded. At this moment, Lu Ming quietly retreated from the stone hall and returned to the stone hall from before. He poured himself a glass of wine and slowly sipped it. Not long after, the sound of footsteps could be heard. Yun Haitang had returned. "Brother Lu, sorry to keep you waiting," Yun Haitang said in a sweet voice as she walked over. Lu Ming could not help but shiver at the thought of the scene just now. He was not in the mood to admire it at all. He only said perfunctorily, "I didn't wait long, you're pretty fast." He did feel that the old man was quite fast. Yun Haitang smiled faintly and sat down beside Lu Ming. She poured a glass of wine for him and another for herself. "Brother Lu, I'll drink a cup as punishment." Then, he picked up his wine cup and drank it all. After putting down the wine glass, Yun Haitang blinked her big eyes and stared at Lu Ming. After a while she said, "Brother Lu, I've invited you here today because I have something to tell you." "Oh, what did he say?" Lu Ming said with a smile. Yun Haitang's face blushed as she inched closer to Lu Ming and placed her hand on his shoulder. "Actually, the first time I saw Brother Lu, I thought you were the man I've been waiting for my whole life. I've been missing you a lot recently." With that, Yun Haitang was about to sit on Lu Ming's lap. Her fragrance assailed his nose. No man would be able to resist the temptation of such a rare beauty like Yun Haitang. If Lu Ming had not seen that scene just now, he might have been tempted. But at this moment, he didn't feel anything at all. He said indifferently, "In my opinion, you don't miss me, but my mental energy fire." His calm and indifferent voice made Yun Haitang's movements freeze. Her body, which had almost sat on Lu Ming's lap, froze in the air. There was an ugly smile on her face. She looked at Lu Ming and said in a tender voice, "Brother Lu, what are you saying? I don't understand what you're talking about. There's a problem that I have to correct you. I'm younger than you, and you're calling me little sister. It's embarrassing." Lu Ming said very seriously. Hee, so it's little brother. I thought you were older than me." Yun Haitang's face froze for a moment, then she smiled again. "One more thing. After you left, I was bored, so I walked around and happened to see the wonderful scene between you and that young master. Hee, I wonder what will happen if this scene gets out?" Lu Ming chuckled. Yun Haitang's expression changed completely. She became extremely gloomy, and her eyes revealed a cold killing intent. "Little brother, it's not good to walk around in other people's territory. You'll have to pay with your life." As soon as she finished speaking, Yun Haitang's fingers were like sharp swords, aimed at Lu Ming's throat. In an instant, a short sword appeared in her other hand and she slashed it at Lu Ming's throat. However, at the next moment, her hand was grabbed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming grabbed her wrists and a terrifyingly powerful vital essence surged into Yun Haitang's body. Yun Haitang's body went soft and her vital energy dissipated. She had no strength to resist. Her heart sank. "Who are you? What are you trying to do?" Yun Haitang cried out. Lu Ming's cultivation level was too terrifying. It was far above his. "Nothing much. I just want to take your inscription plate. If I can get rid of evil for the people, I don't mind helping you." Lu Ming smiled faintly. You killed Yun Songxing, didn't you?" Yun Haitang asked. "It can be considered so." Lu Ming nodded. "Why the Yun family's ancestor won't let you off if you do this." Yun Haitang called out. "Is that so?" Lu Ming's eyes turned cold and murderous intent filled the air. "Miss." At this moment, a few maidservants heard the commotion and rushed in. Lu Ming flicked his fingers and a spear's gleam shot out, piercing through the maidservants' dantians and crippling their cultivation. He also sealed their ability to speak, preventing them from speaking for the time being. Feeling the cold killing intent from Lu Ming, Yun Haitang was scared. Her face turned pale and she begged, "Lu Ming, brother Lu, I'm begging you, please let me go. I can give you anything you want. Furthermore, I'll serve you well until you're comfortable. I guarantee you'll be satisfied." The implied meaning was self-evident. "I don't need it anymore." Lu Ming smiled faintly. With that, he moved like the wind and pointed at Yun Haitang's dantian. Yun Haitang's breathing current collapsed, and she fell to the ground like a pile of mud. Her eyes were filled with despair. Then, Lu Ming tapped Yun Haitang's glabella a few times. 5 spirit lamps appeared above Yun Haitang's head. The spirit lamps swayed a few times and then collapsed one by one. Yun Haitang's cultivation and Tao of inscription had been completely destroyed. Lu Ming used his essential core to take Yun Haitang's storage ring and held it in his hand. "Lu Ming, kill me if you can, otherwise, I won't let you off." Yun Haitang let out a venomous cry. "You will never be able to pose a threat to me." Lu Ming cast a nonchalant glance at Yun Haitang, his tone full of confidence. Yun Haitang was nothing to him. Furthermore, she was a person who had lost her cultivation and her Tao of inscription. With a flick of his finger, a burst of vital essence flew out and sealed Yun Haitang's acupuncture points, making her unable to speak. Then, Lu Ming left Begonia Courtyard in a flash and went to Xian Yanqing's dormitory. The strange Gu Huaxiu. What's wrong? Since you've returned so quickly, why don't you take the opportunity to get closer to a beauty? Xian Yanqing mocked Lu Ming when he saw him. Why would I get close to other women? If I want to get close, I should get close to you. Lu Ming chuckled. Xian Yanqing's face reddened. Don't give me that. Who would want to be close to you? Tell me, did you have lustful thoughts about her and got chased out? Lu Ming was speechless. Was his character that bad? Seeing that Lu Ming did not say anything, Xian Yanqing smiled. Forget it, let's not talk about it anymore. It's more important to get down to business. Lu Ming took out Yun Haitong's storage ring and focused his mind on it. After a while, a token appeared. This is an inscribed token? You're taking action so quickly? Xian Yanqing said. Of course, if you don't do it now, I'm going to sacrifice my body. Let's take action now, Lu Ming mumbled. If we're too late and others find out that Yun Haitang is in trouble, we won't have a chance anymore. All right. Xian Yanqing was not one to hesitate and immediately nodded. Wait a moment. Lu Ming called out. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming in confusion. I'll inscribe an inscription formation for you to conceal your aura first. Lu Ming continued to inscribe runes on Xian Yanqing's body. After a while, the inscription array that concealed his aura was completed. Lu Ming, I didn't expect your inscription technique to be so brilliant. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming curiously. It's nothing. Let's go. In a flash, he went into the depths of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy with Xian Yanqing following behind. At the same time, in a secret room of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy, a deep roar like that of a beast was heard. A white-haired old man's heart was pierced through by Gu Huaxiu. You. Who was it? Ancient flower void. Not this strong? The old man's eyes were filled with disbelief. He was a core elder of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution and a peak-tier king. Even if Gu Huaxiu had sneaked an attack on him, he wouldn't have been able to pierce through his heart. The cultivation that Gu Huaxiu had just revealed was extremely terrifying. Hee, you're about to die, why care so much? I only want your inscription plate. True Yuan exploded, and the old man's aura was extinguished. Gu Huaxiu sneered and licked his lips. He took off the old man's storage ring. After a while, a token appeared in his hand. It was exactly the same as the one that Lu Ming and the others had gotten from Yun Haitang. Then, Gu Huaxiu's body flashed and he also headed towards the treasure vault of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's cultivation levels were high. Their movements were as fast as lightning. Coupled with the inscription array that concealed their aura, no one could discover them. Soon, the two of them arrived at the depths of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy. There was a huge mountain. On the mountainside, there was a stone door. The stone door was tightly closed, and there was a large inscription formation engraved on all sides. If they didn't have the token, not to mention whether they could break in, if they tried to force their way in, it would alert the higher-ups of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution, including that Sea of Soul Realm expert. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing rushed to the mountainside, took out the inscription token, and injected their vital essence. Buzz! The inscription token glowed and inscriptions appeared on it. Inscriptions also appeared on the stone door. These inscriptions formed a light shield in front of them. At this moment, the light barrier split into two, forming a door. The stone door opened automatically. Let's go! The two of them flashed and rushed in. The light shield closed automatically, and the stone door also closed. Behind the stone door, there was a wide passage. It was obviously man-made, and the surrounding walls were full of holes. The two of them followed the passageway and advanced quickly. The tunnel slanted downward, leading to the underground. The two of them ran forward carefully for a few minutes. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt his hair stand on end and a sense of danger erupted from the bottom of his heart. Be careful! Lu Ming suddenly pulled Xian Yanqing and retreated. Chi! Two sharp beams of qi shot into the place where the two had been, leaving two deep, thumb-sized holes in the ground. Die! A figure pounced at them with dark green claws aimed at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's vital points. The speed was unbelievable. Buzz! A long spear condensed in Lu Ming's hands. The spear's gleam pierced through the void and stabbed forward. Sky Devil Force Field. Xian Yanqing pressed his hand forward and a powerful force field burst out, enveloping the other party. Bang! Lu Ming's spear gleam collided with the other party. Lu Ming's figure swayed slightly, while the other party retreated rapidly. So strong! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Under his and Xian Yanqing's combined attack, The other party was only pushed back and not injured. This showed the other party's combat power. Of course, it was also because the two of them were in a hurry and didn't use their full strength. Gu Huaxiu. At this moment, Lu Ming saw the person in front of him. He was shocked and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Beside him, Xian Yanqing was in the same state. The person who had ambushed them was actually Gu Huaxiu. Half a month ago, Gu Huaxiu was only at level 7 Martial King realm. In just half a month, he had improved to such a terrifying level. Hee, your battle strength is beyond my expectations. Gu Huaxiu sneered and licked his lips. He stared at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing coldly. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing furrowed their brows. They did not expect to meet Gu Huaxiu here. You're also here to steal the treasures of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy, right? Lu Ming said. Hee, not bad. I didn't expect you to come in here. Good, I'll take this opportunity to finish you off. Gu Huaxiu's body flickered and turned into a dozen phantoms, charging toward Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Each phantom looked real and exuded a powerful aura. Sky Poison Claw. Gu Huaxiu roared as a claw light shot out. More than a dozen figures attacked at the same time, their claws covering Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's vital points. Sky Devil Force Field. Sky Demon Cut. Xian Yanqing shouted as the Sky Demon Force Field exploded. It contained a terrifying cutting force. Whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming's long spear turned into more than 10 spear gleams and pierced through more than 10 phantoms. Bang, bang. After a dozen or so deep explosions, Gu Huaxiu's dozen or so figures all collapsed and turned into one. He quickly retreated 100 meters away, and blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth. In the battle between the three of them, all of their true qi was restrained. Otherwise, with their combat strength, if their qi spread in all directions, it would probably penetrate the mountain. I didn't expect that your battle strength would reach such a level. I'm afraid that even the sovereigns at the bottom of the list of top 1,000 talents are no match for either of you. Gu Huaxiu said with a serious expression. The powerful cutting force cut the beetles, but it produced the sound of metal clashing and sparks flying. Only a few beetles were cut in half, and the rest were only sent flying. After a moment of delay, they charged again. On the other side, a short sword appeared in Gu Huaxiu's hand. He kept on slashing, but the result was the same. Only a few of the beetles were killed, and the rest were sent flying. Sacred beetle. Damn it! Why are there sacred beetles here? Wanting to slaughter the spirit sea. On the other side, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were also entangled. Alchemists were skilled in inscriptions, so they were naturally also skilled in joint attacks. More than 20 upper-tier king tiers joined forces and set up a combined attack formation, entangling Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming was very clear about the other party's intention. They would hold the two of them back first. The burly man in the red robe would kill Gu Huaxiu first and then kill them. They were broken one by one. If that was the case, they would be in danger. That red-robed man wasn't an ordinary person who had just broken through to the spiritual ocean tier, but had already reached the peak of the first level of the spiritual ocean tier. If they fought him alone, they would only be defeated. Charge out and join forces with Gu Huaxiu. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Xian Yanqing. Sky Demon Force Field, Destruction Cut. Xian Yanqing pressed his hands together, and the Sky Demon Force Field surrounded the 20 or so masters. The destructive power of the force field cut them up. If there were only a few late-stage king tiers, they would have definitely been minced into meat paste. However, with the combined forces of over 20 king tiers, their auras merged together, and their formation, they were actually able to withstand the attack. Devour! Lu Ming pressed his left palm down and a powerful devouring force erupted. It acted on the 20-odd phenomenal success kings and was about to devour their blood essence. Steady! One of the elders shouted. This elder had the strength of a peak-tier king. In fact, There were 8 peak-tier kings among the 20-odd people. Otherwise, they would not have been able to stop Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's joint attack. True Dragon Strike Break. Lu Ming thrust his long spear and a 3-colored True Dragon flew out, crashing toward the 20-odd people. Block him, block him. In just a little while, the Patriarch will be able to kill that person and come help us. An old man roared. They were also extremely shocked. Where did these young men come from? They were so strong that they did not seem to be martial king realm warriors. They were too terrifying. At this moment, countless people from all over the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy were looking at the battle in the sky in shock. Whoosh! Just as Lu Ming executed the True Dragon Strike, a beam of sword light suddenly flashed from a mountain peak below. The sword light was extremely sharp, as if it had come from beyond the heavens. The target of the sword gleam was the same as Lu Ming. It was the experts from the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution. Boom! The 3-colored True Dragon first clashed with the attacks of the people from the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy. They had never expected that there would be another sword light. He wanted to defend, but he lacked the strength. The sword light slashed across, and 7 or 8 late-stage kings were cut in half. The formation was broken. As soon as the formation was broken, Xian Yanqing's Sky Demon Force field exploded and blood splattered everywhere. A few more masters were killed. Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy is such a dirty and disgusting place. Today, I will destroy it. A figure stepped into the air and appeared in the sky. It was a young man, about 25 or 26 years old. He was wearing a white robe and was handsome and elegant. Come and help me. On the other side, Gu Huaxiu shouted. He couldn't hold on any longer. He was spitting out blood and couldn't hold on much longer. The two of you, I'll leave the rest to you. I'll go help him. The white-robed young man turned into a sword light and attacked the red-robed man. Yun Luo, you old fogey, today is the day you die. The white-robed youth's voice was filled with killing intent. Damn it, who are you? The red-robed man, Yun Luo, roared. Detian Divine Guard, Li Xiaoyun, I've been investigating what your Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy has done for a long time. You must be destroyed. The white-robed young man shouted coldly as endless sword chi burst out from his hand. It was extremely powerful. The white-robed youth's cultivation was also at the peak tier king tier, but his battle power wasn't any weaker than Gu Huaxiu, Xian Yanqing, and the others. Li Xiaoyun. He's ranked 943rd on the list of top 1,000 talents. Lu Ming's expression changed. Charge! Let's break out together. At that moment, an old man who was trapped in the Sky Demon power field was trying to break out of the encirclement. With the formation broken, their strength was greatly reduced. At this time, Xian Yanqing had killed a few of them. The remaining 10 or so people were struggling in the Sky Demon power field, but they couldn't get out at all. Now, I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming thrust his spear forward and hundreds of 3-colored True Dragons flew out, pouncing on the experts from the Cloud Sea Alchemy Division. At the same time, the devouring power of the 9 dragons' bloodline enveloped the other party through his left palm. This was equivalent to Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing working together. How could ordinary peak-tier kings withstand this? They were instantly killed. Swallow! Drops of blood essence flew into Lu Ming's left palm and were devoured by the 9 dragons' bloodline. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming curiously. He did not know what Lu Ming's purpose of devouring blood essence was. Now, let's go kill that old man. Lu Ming smiled faintly and did not explain. He couldn't explain the bloodline of the 9 dragons yet. As for the 20 or so storage rings, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing kept them all. All right. Xian Yanqing nodded. Meanwhile, the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy was in an uproar. The most powerful elders of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution were all dead. They had all been killed. Those who knew Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were even more shocked. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's names aren't on the list of top 1,000 talents. How are they so strong? Peak-tier kings can't even fight back against them. The most terrifying one is Gu Huaxiu. He's also shockingly strong. He's still alive under the attack of the old ancestor. The great era is coming. I heard that in recent years, geniuses have emerged from all over the Eastern Barren Territory. All kinds of supreme talents have emerged like bamboo shoots after the rain, and many of them are no weaker than the geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. It's over. The Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution has been targeted by these monsters. It's most likely over. We'd better leave quickly. Some of the people who were studying alchemy here all retreated far away to avoid being implicated. Some disciples of the Cloud Sea Elixir Dispensary also retreated to some hidden places to watch. If the situation didn't look right, they would leave immediately. Meanwhile, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were already charging towards Yun Luo. Even with Gu Huaxiu and Li Xiaoyun working together, they were still not Yun Luo's match, but they could barely hold her off. Sky Devil Force Field. Before Xian Yanqing even arrived, the Sky Demon Force Field had already enveloped Yun Luo. True Dragon Strike. The dazzling spear radiance turned into a three-colored True Dragon and pounced toward Yun Luo. At the same time, Gu Huaxiu and Li Xiaoyun also launched their counterattacks. Boom! Boom! Yun Luo's body trembled violently as she retreated. Buzz! Buzz! Li Xiaoyun and Gu Huaxiu moved and blocked his way. The four of them surrounded Yun Luo. Hee, you're arrogant. Let's see how arrogant you can be now. Gu Huaxiu sneered. Yun Luo, I've investigated what your Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution has done. From today on, the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution will be removed from the world. Li Xiaoyun's sword Qi soared into the sky, and his voice was extremely cold. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing did not say a word, but their cold gazes explained everything. Countless people were shocked. The four geniuses were going to kill a powerful being from the Spirit Sea today. Furthermore, Yun Luo was a powerful being at the peak of the first level of the spiritual ocean realm. If she was killed, it would definitely be a big piece of news. It was extremely rare for a king to kill the Spirit Ocean. This was because the difference between a king and the Spirit Ocean was too great. Even if the four of them joined forces, it would still be extremely shocking. List of top 1,000 talents. Li Xiaoyun. You think you can kill me? Yun Luo's aura was as turbulent as the ocean as she scanned her surroundings. But his heart was unusually heavy. The four people in front of him were all too powerful. Normal peak-tier kings would be instantly killed by them. If he was alone, he had the confidence to defeat and kill him. But with the four of them working together, he felt great pressure. Especially. He looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming was only at the peak of the 9th level of the Martial King realm, but he was already so powerful. This made him tremble in fear. The battle of karmic luck is about to begin. All these freaks have been mobilized. Yun Luo felt a little bitter. Hee, while it's rare for a king to kill a Spirit Sea expert, there have been a few in history. Gu Huaxiu sneered and licked his lips. Kill! Lu Ming did not waste any words and attacked directly. He had devoured a large amount of blood essence, so he had to end the battle as soon as possible and refine the blood essence. The moment Lu Ming moved, the other three moved as well. Each of them unleashed their unique skills and charged towards Yun Luo. The sky instantly boiled over. The violent attacks caused the entire world to shake. Wisps of energy seeped out and fell to the ground. Boom! Boom! Each wisp of qi was like a bombshell. Mountains and rivers exploded, and palaces collapsed. The Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy was in shambles. Let's go, let's go! The disciples of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution screamed and ran. Some of them were too slow and were killed by the explosion. The 5 figures turned into 5 dazzling lights and engaged in a life-and-death battle in the sky. But at this time, Yun Luo was already completely at a disadvantage. A moment later, blood splattered in all directions as an arm was cut off. Yun Luo let out a beast-like roar, and suddenly, a blood-red light filled the air. Yun Luo turned into a blood-red light, rushed out of the encirclement, and quickly went far away. 4 little bastards. Just you wait. I will definitely take revenge for my broken arm. His voice rumbled and reverberated between heaven and earth, but he had already gone far away. Yun Luo had escaped. What a pity he escaped. Li Xiaoyun sighed. Lu Ming's expression was calm. The 4 of them did not have an overwhelming advantage over Yun Luo to begin with. It would not be that easy to kill her. It was already good enough that they were able to leave her with an arm and severely injure her vitality. If the other party doesn't die, he'll definitely take revenge. I won't be accompanying you. Gu Huaxiu sneered. He looked at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing before his figure flashed and disappeared into the horizon. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. This guy was cautious. He left immediately after the battle was over. He was most likely afraid that Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing would find trouble with him. To be honest, Lu Ming would not mind getting rid of him if he had the chance. Gu Huaxiu gave Lu Ming a very dangerous feeling. May I know how I should address the two of you? Li Xiaoyun cupped his fists at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing and smiled. Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing answered. Lu Ming? Xian Yanqing? I've never heard of it before. It seems that we've really entered a golden era with countless geniuses. If the list of top 1,000 talents is rearranged, I doubt I'll be squeezed out of it. Li Xiaoyun said with a bitter smile. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing looked like they were in their 20s, but they had such cultivation and combat strength. He was shocked. Brother Li is too modest. I've heard of Brother Li's great name like thunder. Lu Ming was being polite. What are your plans next? Did you come here to go to the chaotic astral ocean as well? Li Xiaoyun asked curiously. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. He had nothing to hide. The Battle of Kismet is approaching. Now, many geniuses have been mobilized. As far as I know, many geniuses have entered the chaotic astral ocean recently to train them slaviers. After I've settled the affairs of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy, I'm also planning to go to the chaotic astral ocean to adventure. Li Xiaoyun said with a smile. Oh. Lu Ming nodded. Indeed, the chaotic astral ocean is incomparably chaotic. It's an unreasonable place where people may attack you at any time. There's no lack of life and death battles there. Under such an environment, it was indeed possible for one to constantly improve and break through. Because if he didn't break through, he would most likely die. It was normal for many geniuses to enter it to train. Lu Ming could not help but look forward to it. Li Xiaoyun was ranked 943rd on the list of top 1,000 talents, which was dozens of places higher than the Saint Planet. His battle strength was much stronger than the Saint Planet's. Li Xiaoyun could easily defeat Saint Starlight. He was only a few dozen ranks higher and he was already so powerful. How powerful would those geniuses who were ranked higher be? Not to mention the geniuses who had reached the Sea of Souls realm, there must be many geniuses who were stronger than Li Xiaoyun in the Martial King realm. Lu Ming really wanted to meet them. Brother Li, we'll take our leave then, Lu Ming said. He was in a hurry to find a place to refine the blood essence. All right, when we meet again, we must have a good drink, Li Xiaoyun said with a smile. Definitely. Lu Ming nodded and left with Xian Yanqing. Buzz, buzz. After Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing left, two figures appeared beside Li Xiaoyun and bowed. Young master. Send the news to the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace in the Yunfeng region, and get someone to deal with this Cloud Sea Alchemy institution. Using the connate blood qi to refine pills is an evil and crooked way. Li Xiaoyun said coldly. Yes. The two old men bowed. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing flew to the west. After flying for hundreds of thousands of miles, they landed in a mountain range. The two of them planned to cultivate in seclusion here for a while. Xian Yanqing wanted to use the heavenly demon fruit to cultivate the heavenly demon force field, while Lu Ming wanted to refine his blood essence. Dandan, help us guard the area, Lu Ming said. 10 level 5 spiritual herbs. Dandan demanded an exorbitant price. 2 or not a single one, Lu Ming threw him 2. Dandan was helpless and could only grab 2 spiritual herbs to guard at the side. Xian Yanqing sat cross-legged, took out the heavenly demon fruit, and began to cultivate. Lu Ming was sitting cross-legged 100 meters away. Boom, boom, boom. In the bloodline of the 9 dragons, a huge amount of blood essence was being refined. This time, he had obtained the blood essence of over 20 late king tiers, including 8 peak tier king tiers. The blood essence was simply too rich. The 9 dragon bloodline had already accumulated to a certain level, reaching the limit of a 7th-level king bloodline. This time it broke through directly. 8 Asai chakras flashed and disappeared. The 9-dragon bloodline had advanced to the 8th-level king realm. Fortunately, Xian Yanqing was also in seclusion, otherwise, his jaw would have dropped. Bloodline of the 9 dragons, 9 dragons, why does it sound so familiar? Sigh, I can't remember. Not far away, Dandan was mumbling while gnawing on spirit herbs. Let's see if I have enough supreme-grade spirit crystals. If I have enough, I can break through to the peak-tier king realm. More than 10 storage rings appeared in Lu Ming's hands. Lu Min and Xian Yanqing each took Tulavir storage rings from the 20 over-kings from the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution. Lu Ming's mind sank into it and he gathered all the top-grade spiritual crystals together. After a while, Lu Ming revealed a look of joy. Breaking through to peak-tier king tier. As expected of the storage ring of a peak late-stage king, it was simply too rich. There were more than 80 million supreme spiritual crystals in the 12 storage rings. 80 million was really terrifying. Alchemy is really a huge profit. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. Moreover, the people in the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution made use of the brutal method of the baby's innate blood qi to refine pills and make a profit. Naturally, they earned more supreme-grade spirit crystals. Normal peak-tier kings and late-stage kings weren't this rich. Lu Ming estimated that Yun Luo's storage ring definitely had more top-grade spiritual crystals. It was a pity that he had escaped. It's more than enough to break through to the peak-tier king level. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yanqing after he was done sorting out the best-grade spirit crystals. At this moment, an invisible force field emanated from Xian Yanqing's body, covering a radius of 100 meters. It trembled continuously and shrank. Xian Yanqing held the heavenly demon fruit in his hand. The fruit glowed and wisps of light were absorbed by Xian Yanqing. It seemed that Xian Yanqing's cultivation would not end any time soon. With a single thought, Lu Ming's body disappeared and he entered the Supreme Shrine. The next breakthrough would cause a huge commotion. If they were outside, Xian Yanqing would most likely be alerted. Let's start. With a wave of his hand, a large pile of top-grade spiritual crystals appeared. There were a total of 1 million pieces. Bang! Bang! All 1 million supreme spiritual crystals exploded and turned into extremely rich spiritual qi. The 9-dragon bloodline emerged. After reaching the 8th level of the king level, the 9-dragon bloodline's body seemed to have become larger. Its body was winding, and its scales were dense. It was becoming more and more like the legendary true dragon. He opened his mouth and inhaled. A terrifying devouring power burst forth. The energy of 1 million pieces of top-grade spirit crystals was swarmed into the 9 dragons' bloodline. Lu Ming circulated the true war dragon technique and began cultivating. Breaking through to peak-tier king tier required an abnormally large amount of energy, and he had to condense his qi vortex to the extreme in preparation for breaking through to the spirit sea realm. Therefore, he needed a lot of supreme spiritual crystals. The devouring and refining power of the 9 dragons' bloodline had increased several times. It did not take long for him to refine 1 million pieces of top-grade spirit crystals. Lu Ming took out another 1 million. Just like that, 1 million followed another. Endless energy was being accumulated. After Lu Ming had refined 18 million pieces of top-grade spirit crystals, the qi cyclone in his dantian finally reached an extremely condensed stage. It was like a liquid that was spinning like the eye of the sea. At this moment, a powerful aura rose from Lu Ming's body. He had broken through to a peak-tier king. Boom! 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 Circulating the true war dragon technique, his essential core surged and flowed. Lu Ming felt that the strength of his essential core was several times stronger than before. Naturally, Lu Ming's combat strength had also increased by a large margin. Lu Ming opened his eyes and revealed a satisfied smile. Peak-tier kings were considered to be standing at the peak of king tiers. The next step would be to open the spirit sea and step into the spirit sea realm. However, this step wasn't that easy. First of all, one had to comprehend the intent realm of heaven and earth to the 2nd level. Without the 2nd level intent realm of heaven and earth, trying to break through to the Sea of Soul realm would only lead to death. It has only been a day since I refined so many top-grade spirit crystals. Let's go and see how little Qing's cultivation is going. A beautiful woman was sitting cross-legged on the lotus flower. A powerful force field emanated from Xian Yanqing's body. It's not simple, it's not simple. Dandan circled around Xian Yanqing, her eyes darting around as she carefully sized up Xian Yanqing. 8 hours later, the force field around him suddenly shrunk and disappeared into Xian Yanqing's body. At this time, Xian Yanqing opened his eyes. Little Qing, how is it? Did you break through the sky demon power field? Lu Ming walked over and smiled. Of course I did. How was it? You want to test its power? Xian Yanqing's lips curved into a sly smile. He stared at Lu Ming with ill intentions. You think you can defeat me just because you've broken through? Then you'll be disappointed again. Lu Ming smiled confidently. Oh really? Then I'll have to try. Xian Yanqing smiled. As soon as she finished speaking, she pressed her palms forward. Buzz! An extremely powerful force field burst forth and enveloped Lu Ming in an instant. It was as if a majestic mountain was pressing down on him. So strong. He's several times stronger than before. Lu Ming's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. Boom! In the next moment, a powerful aura burst out from Lu Ming's body. He circulated his essential core and gathered 3 types of heaven and earth intent realms, opening up the power of the demonic power field. You've made a breakthrough in your cultivation? Xian Yanqing exclaimed in surprise. Of course. You've already broken through, so how can I not? Lu Ming chuckled. Just in time, destruction cut. Cut. Xian Yanqing shouted and pressed his palms together. A terrifying cutting force burst out from the sky demon power field. This cutting force was formed by the will of destruction and the sky demon power field. It was so sharp that even a 5th-level spiritual weapon would be cut apart. In Lu Ming's hands, a long spear was condensed from vital essence. With the tip of the spear as the center, the long spear spun rapidly like a drill bit and drilled in Xian Yanqing's direction. Bang! Bang! With a loud boom, the domain in front of him was broken. Lu Ming stepped forward and dodged Xian Yanqing's attack. If he wanted to defeat Xian Yanqing, the first thing he had to do was to rush out of the domain and attack Xian Yanqing. Little Qing, I'm going to reward you after I take you down. Lu Ming's gaze swept across Xian Yanqing's body. You want to take me down? Dream on! Xian Yanqing shouted as her blood meridian burst out. Her delicate hand pressed down again. A beautiful arm formed out of thin air and slapped at Lu Ming. The terrifying palm force swept toward Lu Ming like a stormy sea. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He did not dare to be careless. He thrust his spear forward and a huge 3-colored true dragon pounced out, colliding with the beautiful palm. Boom! The ground trembled terrifyingly, and the terrain rose and fell. Violent energy swept in all directions. Lu Ming's body trembled slightly and he took 3 steps back. Xian Yanqing also took 3 steps back. They were equally matched. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Just as he was about to activate his blood meridian to fight Xian Yanqing retracted his demonic force field and said, No more fighting, no more fighting, today is considered a draw. You're not fighting. Lu Ming was somewhat speechless. Other things aside, Xian Yanqing was a good opponent. Lu Ming was about to activate his blood meridian and fight with all his might, but Xian Yanqing stopped. Humph, you're a man, yet you're fighting with a little girl. And you're so serious. How petty. Who wants to fight with you? Xian Yanqing's lips curled into a smile as he looked at Lu Ming in disdain. Chapter 641 Chaotic Star City. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. All right, Xian Yanqing was the one who said that they wanted to have a competition. In the end, it was Lu Ming who was in the wrong. What could Lu Ming say? He could only tell himself in his heart that he should never try to reason with a woman, because his reasoning might not be her reasoning. With a smile, Xian Yanqing's figure flashed. He grabbed Dandan and placed her on her shoulder. Then, he rose into the air and flew to the west. Lu Ming stepped on the air and chased after him. The distance from here to the chaotic astral ocean was not close. It was almost as far as half of the Yunfeng region. Even with their speed, it would still take them nearly 10 days to fly. Little Qing, you're cultivating the destruction and wind concepts, right? Lu Ming asked on the way. That's right. The intent of destruction is something I comprehended from my bloodline, Xian Yanqing said. Those two concepts don't seem to have fused together. Do you think it's that easy to merge two intents together? Xian Yanqing rolled his eyes at Lu Ming. Then he thought of something and said, "Unlike you, you're so perverted. I can teach you some experience in the fusion of wills. How about it? Do you want to learn?" Lu Ming said with a smile. Xian Yanqing's eyes brightened. Indeed, Lu Ming had successfully fused three concepts. If she had Lu Ming's experience, she might really be able to fuse two concepts together. If she could really merge the destruction and wind concepts, her sky demon power field would be raised to a terrifying level. "You're not that kind to teach me?" Xian Yanqing asked. "Of course I'm not that kind. I have conditions. Come, give me a kiss, and I'll tell you the method of fusion." Lu Ming said with a smile. "Kiss you?" Xian Yanqing's face was as red as a ripe apple. He glared at Lu Ming and said, "I knew it, you pervert, you wish." After saying that, he even gritted his teeth. "If that's the case, then forget it. I can't do anything about it. Who asked me to be a pervert?" Lu Ming heaved a long sigh. "You." Xian Yanqing gritted her teeth. The look in her eyes kept changing. Then she stared at Lu Ming with her eyes wide open. Her face turned redder and redder. In the end, she actually closed her eyes slowly and raised her mouth to kiss Lu Ming on the face. Lu Ming's figure flashed and he retreated a few meters away. He smiled and said, "Little Qing, what are you doing? It was just a joke. Did you really take it seriously?" "Ha ha ha." "Lu Ming." A shrill scream came from Xian Yanqing's mouth. Xian Yanqing blushed and glared at Lu Ming. He gritted his teeth and wanted to bite Lu Ming. In the end, she bared her teeth and pounced on Lu Ming, ready to bite him. Lu Ming dodged it and flew forward shouting, "Nest, the tigress bit me." "Stop." "No, I won't stop." The two of them, one chasing and one escaping, disappeared into the horizon. Time passed day by day. Along the way, Lu Ming would occasionally tease Xian Yanqing. He was in an extremely good mood. Of course, he wasn't going to be stingy. He shared some of his experience with Xian Yanqing. On top of that, he also gave Xian Yanqing a bunch of destruction intent crystals. The destruction ultimacy crystal was one of the many ultimacy crystals that Lu Ming had obtained in the heaven realm. When Xian Yanqing saw Lu Ming take out a large pile of destruction ultimacy crystals, there were even quite a few middle-grade ultimacy crystals. He could not help but be dumbfounded. Of course, she kept it without any hesitation. Then, she took out a martial arts secret manual and passed it to Lu Ming. The exploding star fist, a superior heaven-level martial arts technique, could burst out a terrifying power when combined with the concept of fire, like the explosion of stars. Lu Ming was overjoyed. His current attack methods were indeed a little monotonous. With this book on the exploding star fist, he would have more attack methods. He had obtained some martial arts secret manuals from others before. However, they were either heaven-level low-rank martial arts manuals which Lu Ming did not care about at all. Most of them had to be cultivated together with a weapon, and were not suitable for Lu Ming. Lu Ming was just the right person for this martial arts technique. The two of them were not in a hurry to travel. They cultivated as they traveled. If he had any comprehension, he would stop and cultivate. Lu Ming's understanding of the exploding star fist was also improving rapidly. What was originally a 10-day journey took the two of them more than 20 days to arrive. The chaotic star city was located on the shore of the chaotic astral ocean. It could be considered the common border between the Yunfeng area and the chaotic astral ocean. The chaotic star city could be said to be the most prosperous city in the Cloud Peak region. Everyone who wants to enter the chaotic astral ocean from the direction of the Cloud Peak area has to go through the chaotic star city. There were countless merchant associations and caravans gathered here. The chaotic astral ocean can be said to be the largest inland ocean in the East continent. Its surface area is even larger than many large domains. There are many precious materials and strange treasures inside that cannot be found in the outside world. Therefore, there are countless chambers of commerce that take the risk to enter the chaotic astral ocean, search for the materials and treasures unique to the chaotic astral ocean, and sell them in other big regions. They can obtain rich profits. And these chambers of commerce all had to set off from chaotic Star City. It's really lively. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing walked to the streets of the chaotic Star City. They could not help but sigh as they looked at the people coming and going on the streets. There were shops on both sides of the street. There were all kinds of wonderful materials and items from the sea. Lu Ming had never seen them before, and it was an eye-opener for him. After walking around for a while, the two of them headed towards the harbor outside the city. The so-called port in chaotic Star City was not a place for ships to dock, but a place for flying demonic beasts to dock. This is because there are a lot of aquatic demonic beasts living in the chaotic astral ocean. These aquatic demonic beasts possess unparalleled strength in the ocean. They are capable of summoning clouds and rain and are incomparably powerful. If a ship sailed on the sea, it would definitely be destroyed by the sea demon beasts. Therefore, the majority of the people who enter the chaotic astral ocean ride on flying demonic beasts. Of course, riding on a flying demonic beast is not completely without danger. In the chaotic astral ocean, the weather is constantly changing, so you might encounter a storm or a thunderstorm at any time. The storm and lightning rain were not ordinary ones. Some of them were so terrifying that even kings would die inside. In addition, the greatest danger in the chaotic astral ocean is pirates. Pirates are everywhere and rob passers-by. The only outcome for those who were robbed was death. Therefore, any martial artist who wants to enter the chaotic astral ocean will enter in groups. The most common way is to follow some caravans. The caravans had powerful forces and would hire some guards with high cultivation. Therefore, as long as he gave them some spirit crystals, they would agree to go with him. The benefits were mutual. One side could get the protection of the caravan's military force, while the other side would have more people in the caravan, which would be more powerful. They were using each other. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing also wanted to find a caravan to go with them. It's not that they're afraid of the pirates of the chaotic astral ocean, but because the ocean is too big. If they don't have someone to lead the way, it's very easy for them to get lost. They planned to first follow the caravan into the chaotic astral ocean. Then, they would train while waiting for other people with the key to the martial emperor's treasure to appear. The others nodded in agreement. The reason why their caravan brought people along was firstly to earn some fees, and secondly, they had the intention of borrowing strength. If they encountered danger on the road, these people who were traveling together would also help. If there were a few experts together, it would be a great deal, and the safety factor would increase greatly. As they were chatting, someone else came over. Time flew by, and 2 hours passed. The people of the Flame Trade Caravan, as well as the guards, all landed on the back of the four-winged flying tiger. Let's go! Luo Xian shouted. The four-winged flying tiger let out a loud roar and immediately soared into the sky, flying towards the chaotic astral ocean. Lu Ming took a quick glance. There were a total of 64 winged flying tigers and each of them had about 20 people on them. In total, there were more than 1,000 people. Most of them were from the Flame Chamber of Commerce. 1 to 200 of them, like Lu Ming and the rest, had followed the team to the Golden Sand Island. There was nothing else on the four-winged flying tiger's back except for people. People would not have goods, and warriors were naturally different from ordinary merchant caravans. Mortal caravans usually carried a large amount of goods with them, but the goods of martial artists were all stored in storage rings. The four-winged flying tiger roared as it moved. It had 4 huge wings that were more than 50 meters wide. When it flapped its wings, a strong wind blew, and it was extremely fast. 60 huge four-winged flying tigers flew thousands of meters in the air and formed a certain formation. On the four-winged flying tiger at the front stood a white-robed elder who was looking into the distance. This old man was the guide of the caravan. Not only could he tell the direction, but he could also avoid thunderstorms and storms. He could be seen from far away and had never taken a detour to avoid them. This was something that every caravan would have, and it was also called an feng xiang master. An feng shui master was the most valuable asset of a caravan. They could help a caravan avoid many dangers. The salty sea breeze blew and Lu Ming felt refreshed. This is the real ocean. Lu Ming stood on the back of the four-winged flying tiger and looked into the distance. The blue ocean was boundless, as if it was connected to the sky. The surface of the sea was very calm. It was completely different from the sea that Lu Ming had seen in the heaven realm. After a while, Lu Ming sat cross-legged. The journey to Golden Sand Island would take half a month, and he could use this time to cultivate. His mind sank into his sea of consciousness and he sat cross-legged under the lightning cauldron to comprehend the lightning concept. A few hours later, Lu Ming ended his comprehension of the thunder concept. He began to deduce the exploding star fist in his mind. Time flew by and 3 days passed. Walala! The sound of waves crashing could be heard from below. At the same time, chirping sounds could be heard. Lu Ming looked down and was slightly shocked. On the surface of the sea below, there were huge black fish. Lu Ming estimated that each of them was no more than 100 meters long. There were more than 100 of them in total. They were rolling in the sea and letting out sharp cries. Here in the deep sea, all kinds of sea demonic beasts gradually appeared. Voila! Suddenly, a large part of the water sank down, revealing rows of sharp teeth. A black fish was caught off guard and was directly bitten in two by the sharp teeth. A huge shark jumped out of the water. Its aura monstrous. What a big shark! Lu Ming estimated that the shark was at least 1,000 meters long. It was huge and looked like a small island in the ocean. The shark opened its mouth wide and swallowed the big fish. Then, it rushed to the other big fish. The other big fish naturally scattered and fled in all directions. With a single palm strike, thousands of flying arrowfish were killed, showing the strength of a Level 7 Martial King realm. Lu Ming shook his head and did not make a move. Although there were many flying swordfish, their combat strength was not strong. They could not cause much harm to the caravan and did not need his help. On the side, Xian Yanqing had no intention of making a move. He continued to sit cross-legged. As expected, it didn't take long for the school of swordfish to be almost all killed. The caravan successfully charged out and continued to fly forward. Buzz! Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of Lu Ming and the rest. It was Chen Zhao. At that moment, Chen Zhao's face looked even colder. He stared at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing and said, "Why didn't the two of you make a move just now?" His tone was very unfriendly, and he questioned her in a commanding tone. Lu Ming frowned. He did not like it when others spoke to him in such a tone. Therefore, he naturally did not look happy. He said indifferently, "Just a few flying swordfish, we don't need to do anything. When we're needed, we'll naturally attack." Haha, I don't need you to do anything. What a joke. Do you think you're peerless experts? It's ridiculous. I think you guys don't even dare to attack, afraid of death. Chen Zhao laughed and revealed a mocking expression. Xian Yanqing's eyes flashed coldly. Lu Ming frowned and said coldly, "It's none of your business whether we're experts or not. Besides, we've paid the spiritual crystals for this trip. I've never heard of any rule that states that we must take action." You! Chen Zhao's expression froze. Indeed, there wasn't a rule that stated that people had to pay spiritual crystals and go with the caravan. In fact, people like Lu Ming and the rest did not need to do anything. It was just that many people would help when they encountered danger. It was also to prevent the caravan from getting into trouble and to rush to the destination as soon as possible. Chen Zhao! That's enough. At this moment, Luo Xian flew over and chided them. She then smiled at Lu Ming and the other man. "Young Master Lu, Miss Xia, Chen Zhao has a short temper. I hope you don't mind." Xian Yanqing snorted coldly. Lu Ming smiled faintly and did not say anything. "If you're weak and afraid of death, just say it." Chen Zhao said coldly and left, flying forward. "Young Master Lu, Miss Xia, I'm sorry." Luo Xian smiled apologetically and left. "You're looking down on me." Xian Yanqing pouted. Lu Ming smiled faintly and touched his nose. It wasn't that they didn't want to help, but that he had already seen that the swordfish basically didn't pose a threat to the caravan. It didn't matter whether they helped or not, so they didn't help. If the caravan were to encounter a crisis that they couldn't handle, they naturally wouldn't sit by and do nothing. A small disturbance passed just like that, and the caravan continued to move forward. In the blink of an eye, another 2 days passed. On the evening of the 10th day, A small island appeared in front of them. Ahead is island. Let's go down and rest for the night. We'll set off tomorrow. Luo Xian's voice was heard. The four-winged flying tiger had been flying for 10 days. No matter how strong it was still tired and needed to rest. It couldn't keep on flying. The four-winged flying tiger roared and flew toward the island below. This island was not big, with a radius of about 1,000 miles. It was originally a place for some caravans to rest. They landed on a huge square on the island. Manager Yen, the Flame Chamber of Commerce is here. Please prepare some good food for us. A burly man flew down from the flame caravan and shouted. Huge stone houses were built on the side of the square. In the past, the caravans that passed by would rest here and eat something. However, no one responded after the burly man called out. The Blood Fiend Pirates. What happened today? In the past, Manager Yen would come out to welcome us attentively before we even landed. Why is there no one here today? Chen Zhao said with a frown. Luo Xian also frowned and her face suddenly changed. Not good, there's a problem. Let's leave quickly. Go, quickly go. Clearly, some of the more experienced people had also thought of something and called out. Ha ha ha, it's too late to leave now. You can all stay. A sneer was heard. Then the sound of the air being torn could be heard. Figures appeared from all directions of the square. There were more than 1,000 people, standing in the air and surrounding the flame caravan. Pirates, it's pirates! Someone exclaimed. The faces of Luo Xian and the others also darkened. In the chaotic astral ocean, pirates are the most terrifying. The chaotic astral ocean was originally a gathering place for some fiends. Those fiends in the eastern wastelands who could no longer survive would go to the chaotic astral ocean, and no one would be able to find them. The chaotic astral ocean's pirates are even fiercer than the fiercest ones. They specifically kill passing merchant teams and seize their cultivation resources. Their methods are extremely ruthless and they leave no survivors. There were even some pirates who cultivated evil cultivation techniques that required slaughter, blood, and even the souls of warriors to cultivate. Everyone, we're from the Flame Chamber of Commerce. I hope you can give us some face. I understand the rules. I'll give you 1 million supreme spiritual crystals in exchange for us leaving. How about it? Luo Xian flew out and wanted to discuss with the other party. The Flame Chamber of Commerce is considered a huge chamber of commerce in the chaotic astral ocean. It is quite powerful and famous. Some pirates will give some face to it when they hear about it. Unfortunately, Luo Xian was wrong. From the other side, a burly man with a knife scar on his face flew out. His eyes scanned Luo Xian's curvaceous body with a fiery gaze and sneered. Do you think you can dismiss us with just 1 million supreme spiritual crystals? Do you think we are beggars? How about this, you can keep half of all the goods you have this time. Also, you can serve me for a night. If I'm satisfied with your service, I can consider letting you leave. After saying that, the knife-scarred man licked his lips, and his eyes were full of lust. Luo Xian's face turned pale. You're dreaming. Don't think that you can defeat us. You only have 1,000 people, and we have more people than you. If we really fight, it's not certain who will win. Chen Zhao shouted, his anger soaring. Ha ha ha, so what if you have more people than us? In my eyes, they're all sheep waiting to be slaughtered. Kid, let me tell you, our blood fiend pirates never rely on numbers to win. The knife-scarred man laughed contemptuously. What? You're from the blood fiend pirates? Luo Xian, Chen Zhao, and countless people at the scene had a drastic change in their expressions. Their faces were filled with fear. It seemed that the blood fiend pirates were very famous. Hee hee, looks like you've heard of the blood fiend pirates before. You should know that we've always been ruthless. Today, I'm in a good mood, so I'll let you go. As long as you serve me well and leave me half of your goods, I'll let you go. The knife-scarred man sneered. Chen Zhao's expression kept changing, but he did not continue speaking. Don't even think about it, miss. I'll do my best to escort you out later. You can't trust the blood fiend pirates. Even if we agree to their conditions, they'll go back on their word. An old man walked out from behind Luo Xian, exuding a powerful aura. This elder was a peak-tier king. Old man, you want to send her out by yourself? Stop dreaming. The man with the knife scar sneered, and a powerful aura spread out from his body. Peak-tier king. This burly man was actually a peak-tier king as well. Not only that, but another powerful aura also rose up behind the knife-scarred burly man. He was also a peak-tier king. The Blood Fiend pirates had sent out 2 peak-tier kings. Everyone's heart sank. There was only one peak-tier king in the flame caravan, and he usually didn't attack just in case. Let me practice some boxing. The knife-scarred man was shocked. He didn't even see how the 2 people appeared. These 2 people were naturally Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. The scar-faced man heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's age. How much of a threat could 2 young men in their 20s pose? It seemed like he had been too careless earlier and had not noticed them. It's them! Luo Xian, Chen Zhao, and the rest also saw Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. What are the 2 of them doing here? Are you looking to die? Chen Zhao couldn't help but ask. Young Master Lu, in this situation, the Flame Chamber of Commerce can't even protect them Slaviers. They can't protect you either. You'd better run for your lives. If you're lucky, you might be able to escape. Hurry! Luo Xian's character wasn't bad. At this time, she could still think of others. Leave, not a single one of them can leave. Haha, there's actually such a beauty in the world. What luck! At this moment, the scar-faced man's eyes were fixed on Xian Yanqing's body, burning with fire. 5th brother, the previous one is yours, this girl is mine. The skinny man's eyes were similar. He stared at Xian Yanqing, his eyeballs almost falling out. It was too beautiful, too beautiful. Luo Xian was considered a pretty beauty, but compared to Xian Yanqing, she was nothing. They kept sighing and rejoicing. Their luck today was too good. Luo Xian sighed. It's over. Xian Yanqing is so beautiful. Now that he's been targeted by 2 peak-tier kings of the Blood Fiend pirates, how can he escape? Xian Yanqing's brows furrowed, his eyes filled with killing intent. All of you will die. Xian Yanqing's cold voice startled everyone. Xian Yanqing actually wanted to kill 2 peak-tier pirate kings? What a joke. Little Qing, leave these 2 guys to me. I'm looking for someone to practice my fist arts with. You go help the others. Lu Ming said to Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing's cold eyes swept across the knife-scarred man and the skinny man. All right, I'll leave them to you. Don't kill them easily, I'll do it. All right. Lu Ming nodded. The others were dumbfounded. What were Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing doing? Could it be that in their hearts, the knife-scarred man and the skinny man were trash that could be killed at will? These were 2 peak-tier king tiers. A newborn calf was really not afraid of a tiger. Senior, you go help the others. Leave these 2 to me. Lu Ming strode forward and said to the peak-tier king from the Flame Chamber of Commerce. This. The old man was also a little stunned. Brat, you're trying to be a hero on my head. It's your mistake. Die. The scar-faced man shouted coldly and slashed his saber at Lu Ming. The blood-red saber ray whistled through the air and slashed at Lu Ming's head. The power was stronger than before. Be careful. Luo Xian subconsciously exclaimed. I'll use you guys as practice. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile as he threw a punch. The space trembled with the exploding star fist. A fiery red fist light shot toward the saber light of the knife-scarred man like a meteor. Wherever the fist radiance passed, the air was directly turned into liquid due to its ferocity. The liquid wrapped around the fist radiance and collided with the saber radiance. Boom! With a deafening sound, the knife light of the knife-scarred man was directly shattered and disappeared without a trace. Not only that, but the remaining fist light also hit the knife-scarred man and forced him to retreat. This. Luo Xian, Chen Zhao, and the others' eyes almost popped out, and their mouths were wide open as they stared blankly. Lu Ming had actually destroyed the saber flare of the burly man on the bus, who had been extremely arrogant just now, with one punch and forced him to retreat. How could Lu Ming's combat strength be so terrifying? Expert. This was a top expert. The scar-faced man's expression changed drastically as well. He had never expected Lu Ming to have such powerful combat strength. Come over here. At this moment, Lu Ming threw a punch. A dazzling fist radiance pierced through the void and headed toward the thin bamboo pole. The skinny man wanted to stop Xian Yanqing, but Lu Ming quickly pulled him over. It wasn't easy to find a few training targets. It would be a pity if Xian Yanqing killed him in one move. The explosive fist radiance created a huge pressure on the skinny man. He could only block it with all his strength. Boom! The fist radiance exploded, and the thin bamboo pole was blown away for 1,000 meters. Let's join forces and kill this little bastard. The knife-scarred man roared. All right. Buzz! Buzz! The skinny man and the knife-scarred man joined forces. Both of them unleashed their full strength and charged toward Lu Ming. Good. Lu Ming threw 2 punches in a row. The fist radiance burst out, tearing through the void 1,000 meters away and blasting toward the two of them. With 2 loud bangs, the two of them were sent flying by the fist radiance. Whoosh! Whoosh! Immediately after, 2 more fist lights pierced through the void and headed toward the two of them. The fist energies seemed to be endless. The knife-scarred man and the skinny man were completely suppressed and were at a disadvantage. This was the result of Lu Ming suppressing his quintessential essence and his explosive star fist. Otherwise, he would have been killed by Lu Ming. Sky Devil Force Field. On the other side, Xian Yanqing's voice was heard. She pressed her hand down and a terrifying Sky Demon Force Field covered 1,000 meters. All the Blood Fiend pirates, regardless of whether they were late-stage kings or ordinary kings, were cut into pieces and died. Luo Xian and the others were dumbfounded. Geniuses! I didn't expect that we would have 2 peerless geniuses in our team this time. We're so lucky. The elder at the peak of the king's realm sighed, his face filled with joy. Yeah, I really didn't expect this. Luo Xian also sighed. As for Chen Zhao, he felt his face burning. He thought of what had happened 2 days ago. At that time, he had pointed at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing, saying that they were afraid of death and that their cultivation levels were low, so they did not dare to attack. Now that he thought about it, every word he said was like a pair of slaps on his face. Lu Ming was right. They did not make a move. Under such circumstances, there was no need for them to make a move. When there was a need, they would naturally make a move. However, he was mocking Lu Ming. Damn it, you made me lose face. Isn't it just a peak-tier king? My big brother is much stronger than them. Chen Zhao felt rather upset. He felt that Lu Ming had embarrassed him. Let's attack together and kill these Blood Fiend pirates. The old man's figure flashed as he charged towards the Blood Fiend pirates. With the help of the old man and Xian Yanqing, the Blood Fiend pirates were killed in large numbers. Especially Xian Yanqing, once the Sky Demon Force Field was released, a large group of pirates were enveloped and had no way to escape. The more the Blood Fiend pirates fought, the more frightened they became. The fiendish chi from before had already subsided, and what was left was fear. Retreat! Retreat! The enemy has too many peak-tier kings. Some of the Blood Fiend pirates shouted. They had already lost their fighting spirit. The moment their fighting spirit disappeared, their combat strength became weaker, and more people were killed. The Flame Chamber of Commerce had the upper hand. Large amount of blood essence. Kill! Many people of the Flame Chamber of Commerce shouted. Their eyes were red from killing. They had thought that they would die today, but the situation had suddenly reversed, and the morale was high. In just a few minutes, a few hundred Blood Fiend pirates had been killed. Finally, the Blood Fiend pirates collapsed and retreated. Xian Yanqing and the others chased after him madly, leaving behind a large number of corpses along the way. Of the 1,000 Blood Fiend pirates, at least 800 were killed. Only 100 or 200 managed to escape. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming's fist force was like a rainbow. The terrifying and powerful fist force cut through the void like a meteor, constantly blasting towards the knife-scarred man and the thin bamboo pole. It was as if there was no end to it. The knife-scarred man and the skinny man were already trembling, and blood was flowing out of their mouths and noses. Their internal organs had been injured by Lu Ming's fist force. Satisfying, satisfying. Lu Ming felt that the circulation of the explosive star fist was becoming smoother and smoother. It was much more comfortable than when he had comprehended it by himself. Lu Ming could feel that the level of the explosive star fist was approaching the 3rd level. The cultivation of martial techniques still required a great battle. The knife-scarred man and the skinny man watched as their men were either killed or escaped. The others, such as Xian Yanqing and the old man from the Flame Chamber of Commerce, rushed back. Their hearts sank. They knew that they were most likely doomed today. Damn it! Even if I die today, I won't let you have a good time. Let's die together. The knife-scarred man roared with a murderous aura. In the chaotic astral ocean, they were used to seeing life and death, and often walked on the edge of life and death. At this moment, their ferocity was aroused. With loud roars, the qi on their bodies suddenly became violent. Let's die together. The aura on the skinny man's body also became violent. Not good, they're going to self-destruct. The old man from the Flame Chamber of Commerce exclaimed. Quickly retreat, quickly retreat. Chen Zhao and the others, who were watching the battle from all directions, shouted in horror. The self-destruction of a peak-tier king was extremely terrifying, and everything within 100 miles would be affected. You want to self-destruct? Did I allow it? Lu Ming's eyes turned cold and his essential core exploded wildly. Lu Ming's essential core was extremely strong now. Once it exploded, the 2 fist forces immediately became incomparably terrifying. They instantly shattered the void and bombarded the knife-scarred man and the thin bamboo pole. Before the 2 of them could self-destruct, they were directly torn to pieces by the terrifying power. They didn't even have the time to let out a blood-curdling scream. Buzz! Lu Ming's body moved and he flashed past them. He devoured their blood essence and kept their storage rings. Of course, Lu Ming's devouring of the blood essence was done very discreetly. The devouring power was used on his palm and the blood essence was absorbed. Then, Lu Ming's figure flashed past the corpses and he devoured all the blood essence. There were nearly 800 people, and 200 to 300 of them were martial kings. This blood essence was too rich. How could he miss it? Luo Xian, Chen Zhao, and the rest were dumbfounded. 2 peak-tier kings were killed by Lu Ming just like that. After a long while, a deafening cheer erupted. Most of the people were cheering, especially the people from the Flame Chamber of Commerce. They often visited the chaotic astral ocean and naturally knew of the Blood Fiend pirate's reputation. They had originally thought that they would be doomed this time. However, they didn't expect that Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were so unimaginably powerful. They were actually 2 young peak king warriors who could easily crush their opponents. Having escaped death, they naturally cheered, were happy, and excited. I've heard that many young geniuses have entered the chaotic astral ocean to train. Some of them are even peerless geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. Could it be that these 2 are the geniuses on the list? I don't know. I don't know what his name is. In my opinion, even if he's not on the list of top 1,000 talents, he's close to that level. Waves of discussion could be heard from the surroundings. Young Master Lu, Miss Xia, thank you for your help this time. Luo Xian is extremely grateful. Luo Xian walked to Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing and bowed. Miss Luo Xian, you don't have to be so polite. I'll still say the same thing. If there's a need for this Lu to take action, this Lu will definitely take action. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Humph, if we don't make a move, someone is probably going to drive us away. Xian Yanqing snorted and glanced at Chen Zhao, who was standing not far away. Of course, Chen Zhao also heard this. Humph, what's there to be proud of? Wasn't he just a peak-tier king? It had taken him so long to kill 2 pirates, and their names weren't on the list of top 1,000 talents. What was he so proud of? If my big brother wasn't over 30 years old, he would have been on the list of top 1,000 talents. Chen Zhao gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. All right, let's rest. Lu Ming strode towards a stone house. The others also began to clean up the battlefield. He walked into the stone house, but there was no one there. It was obvious that the people on this island had all been killed by the blood fiend pirates. Lu Ming randomly found a stone house and started to refine the blood essence. The blood essence of 2 peak-tier kings, more than 10 late-tier kings, and hundreds of martial artists of different levels were extremely rich. Lu Ming used all of them to improve his 9-dragon bloodline. Unfortunately, it didn't help the 9-dragon bloodline advance to the 9th level of the king class. In order to advance to the 9th level of the king class, the amount of blood essence required was enormous, and this amount was far from enough. The night passed uneventfully. The next morning, when the 4-winged flying tiger was almost done resting, everyone set off again for Golden Sand Island. Although they ran into some trouble on the way, even a small pirate group, this group didn't even have a peak-tier king and was easily defeated. 5 days later, they finally arrived at Golden Sand Island. The Golden Sand Island is considered relatively large and famous among the many islands in the chaotic astral ocean. It has a circumference of several 100,000 li and is like a continent. There was a lot of golden sand on it, hence the name Golden Sand Island. In the sea area with a radius of tens of millions of miles, Golden Sand Island was a large gathering place. There were many forces here, and at least tens of millions of warriors had gathered here. It could be said that there were many masters. There were even quite a few Sea of Soul Realm experts, but they didn't usually show their faces. The 4-winged flying tiger of the Flame Chamber of Commerce landed on a vast golden beach. Young Master Lu, Miss Xia, this must be your first time on the Golden Sand Island, right? The Flame Chamber of Commerce has a large stronghold on the Golden Sand Island. Why don't we go there and have a look? I'll be the host and show you around. Luo Xian walked to Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing and smiled. Thank you, Miss Luo Xian, but the two of us still have other things to do. We'll chat again next time. Lu Ming declined. Oh, if that's the case, next time then. But young Master Lu, Lady Xia, the chaotic astral ocean is different from the outside world. Here, there is no law or order. If you make a move, there will be a massacre. You too must be careful. Luo Xian warned him kindly. Thank you, Miss Luo. Goodbye. After that, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing bade farewell and headed toward the Golden Sand Island. Blood splattered everywhere. Looking at the two of them leaving, Luo Xian sighed and said, "What a pity. It would be great if such a genius could be used by the Flame Chamber of Commerce. Young lady, that's impossible. These two are so young, but they've already reached the peak king realm. They must be the heirs of some big force. In a few years, they might even be on the list of top 1,000 talents. Their future is limitless. How can our Flame Chamber of Commerce invite such people?" The peak-tier king from the Flame Chamber of Commerce walked to the side and said softly, "Elder Wu, you think too highly of them. In my opinion, their combat strength is only average. My brother can definitely defeat them easily. They are just lucky to be born in a major power and rely on a large amount of resources to reach their cultivation base. There are many people like them in those major powers, so they will definitely not be able to get on the list of top 1,000 talents." Chen Zhao walked up and sneered. He was still very unhappy with Lu Ming. Luo Xian sighed. Chen Zhao was too narrow-minded. He wouldn't be able to do much. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing rose into the air and flew toward the inland of Golden Sand Island. Soon, a huge city appeared in front of them. The two of them flew toward the city. This city was not guarded by anyone. People came and went, flying here and there, and it was very lively. As Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing approached the city gate, they immediately attracted a lot of attention. Most of these gazes came from the burly men. These people were all burly and strong. They didn't even bother to hide their murderous aura as they stared at Xian Yanqing with fiery eyes. Not only were there middle-aged brawny men, but there were also a few white-haired old men. Their eyes were also burning as they looked at Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing frowned. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and touched his nose. Xian Yanqing's charm was too great. He would attract attention wherever he went. However, Lu Ming could not stop others from watching. If someone wanted to take a step further, Lu Ming's fist would have long been itching. The two of them could not be bothered with the gazes from the surroundings and walked into the city. In the city, the shops formed a forest and it was even more lively. On both sides of the street, there were many stalls selling many strange things. I didn't expect that there would be so many warriors on Golden Sand Island. Lu Ming thought to himself. Moreover, Lu Ming noticed that the quality of the warriors on Golden Sand Island was very high. There were almost no weaklings. Lu Ming took a glance and saw that most of them were at the level of martial kings. Of course, there were also warriors below the rank of martial king, but they were all high-level martial arts grandmasters. The weaker ones did not dare to walk around. It's no wonder. In the entire Eastern Wilderness, many of those extremely vicious and evil martial artists, or those who practice evil martial arts, come to the chaotic astral ocean. This has led to the chaotic astral ocean having an extremely large number of experts. The number of experts in the chaotic astral ocean far exceeds that of most big regions. Martial kings were everywhere. Kid, what the hell do you mean? I saw this piece of deep-sea cold iron first. What's the meaning of this? Do you want to die? I think you're the one who wants to die. So what if you like her? This piece of deep-sea cold iron. I want it. In front of a stall, two big men in their 40s started quarreling. You're looking for death. With a loud roar, one of the burly men pulled out his saber and slashed at another man. You're the one who's going to die. A long spear appeared in the other man's hand. The long spear turned into a flash of lightning and pierced the throat of the man in front. The man roared and fell to the ground. Humph, you're really looking for death. You still want to fight with the old man for the deep-sea cold iron. The man with the long spear put away his spear and took the man's storage ring before looking at the stall owner again. The deep-sea cold iron is mine. The burly man said. All right. The stall owner smiled and handed a piece of metal to the burly man. As for the death of one person, he did not find it strange at all. The people around him were the same. Chapter 648 Lone Wolf Adventurer Team. Indeed, this place was very interesting. To the strong, this was heaven, but to the weak, this was hell. They had to live in fear, or else they could be killed at any time. In another restaurant, the waiter respectfully welcomed Lu Ming and his wife with a flattering smile on his face. The waiter wasn't even a martial arts grandmaster. On Golden Sand Island, he was at the bottom of the hierarchy. Anyone could kill him with one finger. Therefore, he lived in fear and trepidation. My two guests, if you need anything, just tell me. The waiter invited Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing to a table on the second floor and asked them with a smile. Just give us some wine and food. Lu Ming smiled and ordered some wine and dishes casually. Please wait for a moment, sir. I'll be right there. The waiter turned around and ran back, but he didn't pay attention and bumped into a big man. The big man's Zhan Yuan shook, and the waiter's body was pushed back 5 or 6 steps, sitting on the ground. Kid, don't you have eyes? You dare to hit me. I think you're tired of living. This burly man had only one eye. He wore an eye patch and was staring fiercely at the waiter. The waiter's face instantly turned pale, without a trace of blood. He knelt down in front of the one-eyed man and began to kowtow, shouting, my lord, please spare my life. I didn't do it on purpose. Please spare my life, my lord. The waiter kowtowed loudly. He didn't dare to use his true chi to defend himself, so his forehead started to bleed after a few hits. But he didn't dare to wipe it and continued to kowtow desperately. Hee, spare you? You wish. Since you don't have eyes when you walk, I'll dig out your eyes and make you really not have eyes. The one-eyed man revealed a ferocious smile. The waiter's face was deathly pale and filled with despair. On Golden Sand Island, with his cultivation level, if he were to go blind, only death would await him. My lord, please spare me just this once. The waiter desperately kowtowed and begged. Hee. The one-eyed man remained unmoved, his eyes flashing with an ominous glint. One of his own eyes had been gouged out. Since then, he especially liked to gouge out other people's eyes. That way, he would have the pleasure of revenge. Whoosh! The one-eyed man's 2 fingers stabbed towards the waiter's eye like lightning. This burly man had reached the level of a lower-tier king while the waiter and Wu Zong weren't even there. There was a huge gap between them, and it was impossible for them to avoid him. Lu Ming frowned and raised his hand. A wave of essential core swept out and wrapped around Xiao. He pulled her back and dodged the attack of the one-eyed giant eye. The waiter was pulled to the side of their table by Lu Ming. He was still in a state of shock and his entire body was trembling. The one-eyed man looked in Lu Ming's direction with a menacing look in his eyes, especially when he looked at Xian Yanqing. It was a look of pure desire. "Brat, how dare you interfere in my business? You must be tired of living." The one-eyed man smiled hideously and walked toward Lu Ming and the rest. The waiter was terrified. However, Lu Ming did not even look at the one-eyed man. He picked up the glass and took a sip slowly. Ta! Ta! The one-eyed man walked to Lu Ming's table step by step. His voice was filled with killing intent. "Kid, you're lucky today. Our big brother Li has taken a fancy to this little girl. Let her go over and drink with him. Also, destroy your eyes and we'll let this matter go. We'll spare your life." Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. He could tell that the man's target was Xian Yanqing. As soon as they went upstairs, the one-eyed man's table was already staring at Xian Yanqing with a fiery gaze. Then, the one-eyed man stood up and walked over. He deliberately stood behind the waiter, causing the waiter to bump into him. Everything was done on purpose by the one-eyed man. He was just looking for a reason to cause trouble. "Get lost." Lu Ming took a sip of wine and coldly spat out the word, "scram." The one-eyed man's face changed, and his expression became even more ferocious. "Brat, I wanted to spare your life, but you're just looking for death." Whoosh! With that, the one-eyed man's fingers were like swords, piercing toward Lu Ming's eyes. Then there was a shrill scream. Of course, it was not Lu Ming who shouted, but the one-eyed man. Lu Ming flicked his finger and a spear's gleam flashed, blinding the one-eyed man's other eye. The one-eyed man covered his eye with his palm, blood flowing from his face. He let out a beast-like roar and scream. Kill, kill, little bastard, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your entire family." The one-eyed man roared and pounced on Lu Ming as if he had gone mad. The next moment, the one-eyed man's body flew out of the window of the restaurant and fell heavily on the street outside the restaurant. His cries stopped abruptly. The one-eyed man was dead. Boom! 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 At a table by the window, 3 burly men suddenly stood up, exuding a powerful and cold aura, causing the temperature in the restaurant to drop sharply, as if it was winter. The one-eyed man was at the same table as these 3 people just now. "It's Lone Wind. He's from the Lone Wolf Adventurer team. That kid is in danger. He just killed one of Lone Wind's men. Lone Wind will never let him go. That's for sure. On Golden Sand Island, the Lone Wolf Adventurer team is pretty strong. This Lone Wind is used to being a tyrant. The key is his big brother, Lone Wolf. He's a peak-tier king." The people around them were whispering to each other. Most of them were gloating at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. The waiter's face turned even paler when he heard the name Lone Wolf Adventurer Team, and his body trembled. "It's over. It's over. Young master, leave quickly. Leave quickly. Don't care about me. I'm just a worthless life. Don't lose your life because of me," the waiter said in a trembling voice. Lu Ming smiled faintly. This waiter was quite kind-hearted. He was obviously scared to death, but he still asked Lu Ming and the rest to leave. "Don't worry." Lu Ming smiled slightly, his expression calm. Bang! Bang! At this moment, the 3 burly men had already walked to Lu Ming and the rest. The person in front was in his 30s. His neck was slightly crooked, but his eyes were extremely cold. He stared at Lu Ming and said coldly, "Brat, how dare you kill a member of the Lone Wolf Adventurer team? I'll make your life a living hell today." Then, he turned to look at Xian Yanqing. His eyes scanned Xian Yanqing's body up and down, revealing his lust. "Little girl, draw a clear line with this kid right now, and then come back with me to serve me well. Be my maidservant, and then you can live comfortably on Golden Sand Island. Do you understand? Hurry." "Idiot." Lu Ming took another sip of wine and said indifferently. Gu Feng's eyes glowed with ferocity. He looked at Lu Ming and said, Kid, what did you say? I don't care what kind of force you're from, but when you're in the chaotic astral ocean and on the golden sand island, even if you're a dragon, you'll still have to coil up. Bzzz. Before he could finish his sentence, Gu Feng had already made his move. His claw was aimed at Lu Ming's throat. Gu Feng was a Level 7 Martial King Realm expert. Chapter 649 Total Annihilation. However, before Gu Feng's claws could reach Lu Ming, he was enveloped by a huge force field. His movements immediately became as slow as a snail. Grumble, I can't even eat a meal in peace. So annoying. Xian Yanqing said coldly. Gu Feng's face revealed a terrified expression. He wanted to turn his head, but with a bang, he turned into a pool of blood mist. Yes, under the terrifying force field, he was turned into a pool of blood. There was nothing left of him except for his storage ring, which was caught by Xian Yanqing. The other people in the restaurant were shocked. Xian Yanqing's methods were truly evil. He didn't even move and turned Gu Feng into a cloud of blood mist. It was simply terrifying and made people's scalps tingle. As for the two burly men with Gu Feng, their faces turned pale, without a trace of blood. You killed Lone Wind. Our leader will not let you go. Our leader is a Peak King. One of them said in a trembling voice. Oh, so this battle is inevitable? Lu Ming asked. No. Not bad. The burly man replied. All right, then you guys stand here first and wait for us to finish eating. Lu Ming said indifferently. He picked up his glass and took a sip. Xian Yanqing was the same, but her face was a little cold. The two burly men stood there. They wanted to leave but did not dare to. They could only look at each other and stand there, not knowing what Lu Ming was up to. A few minutes later, Lu Ming finished his meal and stood up. He said to the waiter, Little brother, you can go. Ah! The waiter was stunned, but he still looked at the two men from Lone Wolf in fear. Don't worry. From now on, there won't be any Lone Wolf adventurer team on Golden Sand Island. Lu Ming smiled faintly. The others were shocked. What did Lu Ming mean? They quickly understood. Lu Ming looked at the two burly men and said, Lead the way. What? The two big men were a little stunned. Lead the way to your Lone Wolf adventurer team's lair. Hurry up. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold and murderous intent filled the air. The two burly men shuddered. Lu Ming actually wanted to go to the Lone Wolf adventurer team's lair. What was he going to do? Destroy the Lone Wolf adventurer team? Could it be that I've really provoked two fiends that I shouldn't have provoked this time? The two men's hearts turned cold. If you don't want to die immediately, then hurry up. The killing intent in Lu Ming's eyes grew stronger. The two burly men turned pale and nodded hurriedly. No matter what, they would leave this matter to their regiment commander, Lone Wolf. They prayed in their hearts that Lone Wolf would be able to kill Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. With the two burly men leading the way, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing headed for the Lone Wolf adventurer team's base. Let's go and take a look. These two young men are actually going to kill their way into the Lone Wolf adventurer team's lair. It's too shocking. They definitely have the right to be so confident. This time, the Lone Wolf adventurer team is likely to have kicked an iron plate. I've heard that recently, many young geniuses from the Eastern Wasteland have entered the chaotic astral ocean to train. It's very likely that these two are those geniuses. It seems that I must keep a low profile when I see young people these days. The rest of the people in the restaurant discussed as they followed Lu Ming and the rest. After the others on the road found out the truth, they also followed. In a short while, there were hundreds of people following behind. There are many adventurer teams in the chaotic astral ocean. These adventurer teams usually enter some dangerous places to take risks and search for treasures. However, most of the adventurer teams mainly worked as guards for the merchant teams and earned money. The Flame Chamber of Commerce had hired an adventurer team before. In the next moment, streaks of light flashed in the mountains. More than 100 people appeared in front of Lu Ming and the rest. The leader of the group was a middle-aged man with a gloomy face and a ruthless look in his eyes. Leader, help. The two of them, Kill Big Brother Li. The two burly men in front of Lu Ming shouted. The burly man in the lead was the leader of the Lone Wolf Adventurer team, Lone Wolf. What? Second brother is dead? In an instant, Lone Wolf's eyes turned red. He then looked at Lu Ming with a murderous look and said in an extremely cold voice, "Brat, no matter what the reason is, I'll skin you alive and pull out your tendons after you kill my second brother. Also, I'll reward you to my brothers. They'll take turns serving you. You'll have your fill." Gu Lang looked at Xian Yanqing. As soon as Xian Yanqing said that, everyone in Lone Wolf looked at him with burning eyes. "Oh, I originally wanted to explain to you why I killed your second brother, but it seems that there's no need to now." Lu Ming smiled faintly. The chaotic astral ocean follows the law of survival, the law of the jungle. What bullshit logic is this? It doesn't work here at all. As long as there was strength, there would be reason. Lu Ming understood this point very quickly. Lu Ming flicked his fingers and two spear lights shot out, killing the two burly men who were leading the way. Then, he stepped forward and walked towards Lone Wolf. Die! Gu Lang's eyes turned cold. A giant wolf appeared above his head, and a violent and bloodthirsty aura burst out. Buzz! Lone Wolf's legs kicked in the air and his figure immediately turned into a series of afterimages, pouncing toward Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. Lu Ming's expression remained calm. A long spear condensed in his hand. With a wave of his arm, the long spear shot out like a bolt of lightning. The next moment, a shrill scream was heard, and a figure retreated frantically. It was Gu Lang. At this moment, his eyes were filled with disbelief. His chest had been pierced by a long spear. The powerful destructive force had already destroyed his internal organs. One move, just a casual move, and the long spear had pierced through his heart. That spear was too fast and too sharp. He couldn't avoid it at all. Clang! The spear's immense power sent Lone Wolf flying a few thousand meters and nailed him to the cliff of the mountain. Lone Wolf, dead. The people who came to watch were dumbfounded and shocked. Lu Ming's combat strength had exceeded everyone's expectations. He was too powerful. Lone Wolf was completely defenseless in his hands. Who is this person? Could he be a top talent on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Eastern Barren Territory? I don't know his name. A series of shocked discussions could be heard. On the other hand, the members of the Lone Wolf Adventurer team looked terrified. Their leader, a peak-tier king, had been killed in one move. Run! Immediately, those people turned around and ran. Don't even think about leaving. Xian Yanqing stepped into the air and pressed his palm. The sky demon power field exploded, and the 100 or so Lone Wolf adventurers were all enveloped by it. A destructive cutting power was produced, and in the next moment, all 100 or so people were killed. Their corpses fell to the ground like rain. As for the storage rings, they were all taken by Xian Yanqing. Chapter 650 Life Battle Stage. CSI. Gasps of shock could be heard. The people who were watching the battle widened their eyes in shock. In the chaotic astral ocean, it was normal for people to die all the time. They were shocked by the strength of Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. One of them had killed a peak-tier king with a single move. With a wave of his hand, he had killed hundreds of experts, including many Level 9 Martial King Realm upper-tier King Realm experts. The strength of the two was very shocking. Those who had been coveting Xian Yanqing's beauty at the start felt a chill in their hearts. They were secretly glad that they didn't make a move. Otherwise, they would be the ones who died. Now, they no longer looked at Xian Yanqing with fire and greed in their eyes. There was only fear and dread. Lu Ming swept his gaze across the crowd. He could see everyone's expressions. Lu Ming had a deeper understanding of the word, chaotic astral ocean. Chaotic astral ocean, if you're soft-hearted, then everyone will bully you. However, if one's methods were more ruthless and brutal than others, then everyone would be afraid of him. Lu Ming's figure flickered and he devoured the blood essence of all the members of the Lone Wolf Adventurer team. Let's go! Then, he left with Xian Yanqing. Soon, the two of them returned to the city. The two of them planned to first find an inn to stay in, then buy a map of the chaotic astral ocean. After that, they will find a suitable place to go and train. When the two of them returned to the city, they saw many people flying in one direction. Go to the life battle platform. The King of Hell has made his move again. I heard that his opponent this time is Old Monster Chi-chan. What? The King of Hell and Old Monster Chi-chan are going up against each other. It's been years since Old Monster Chi-chan fought. Let's go and take a look. This battle will definitely be spectacular. One figure after another quickly flew in one direction. Life battle stage. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were both stunned and curious. From the looks of it, it was a battle between two experts. What kind of expert could attract so many people to watch? Let's go and take a look. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming. I was thinking the same thing. Lu Ming smiled. Then, the two of them followed the crowd and walked forward. Soon, they arrived in front of a huge building. The building was round and huge. When they got close, they heard loud cheers and screams. Could it be that the battle has already begun? We can't be late, right? Let's go in quickly. Many people flew to the entrance of the building. Pay the full bill. 200 best-grade spirit crystals per person. At the gate, there were guards who stopped the crowd and shouted, "These are my spiritual crystals, take them." Many people paid the spiritual crystals and rushed into the building. However, there were too many people and they had to line up. There are so many people here. It seems that King Yama and Old Monster Chi-chan are not ordinary. Lu Ming thought in his heart. After a while, it was their turn and they walked in. The interior of the building was circular. In the middle was a huge fighting stage that was several miles long and wide. Around it were circular stands. There were more than 100 levels, and at least a few 100,000 people could sit there. After the two of them walked in, they found that there were at least 100,000 people sitting in the stands. The fighting ring was empty. There was no one there, only a pool of blood. What's going on? Where was he? Wasn't it King Yama fighting against Old Monster 7 Diana? Why don't I see him? Yeah, where are they? The people who came in after him called out. People? He only came now, where was he? The war has ended. Someone said. What? The war had ended, but what was the result? Who won? Yama. Yama won. Yama and Old Monster Chi-chan fought for 100 moves and in the end, Old Monster Chi-chan was killed by Yama. Sorry, I'm late. I've wasted 200 supreme spiritual crystals. Let's watch the other duels. Many people who had arrived late sighed and looked for a seat. Young Master Lu, thank you, young lady. Suddenly, Lu Ming heard a delicate cry. Luo Xian. He turned around and saw a young woman walking towards him. It was Luo Xian. Beside Luo Xian, there were two other people. One of them was Chen Zhao, and the other was in his 30s. He had a burly figure and looked similar to Chen Zhao. Miss Luo. Lu Ming revealed a smile. Young Master Lu, Lady Xia. What a coincidence. Are you here to watch the battle on the fated battle platform? Luo Xian said with a smile. That's right, but I seem to have missed it. Lu Ming said. That's right. Hell King is a top-notch expert who has risen recently. He has never lost a battle at the peak tier king level and has won 19 consecutive battles. With this battle, he has already won 20 consecutive battles. As for the 7 Zen Elder, he's lived for almost 800 years and has cultivated for so many years. His battle power is also extremely terrifying, and he's almost unparalleled among peak tier kings. He also won 19 consecutive victories on the life battle platform, and many people are looking forward to their battle. I didn't expect that this battle would come so suddenly. It's a pity that we missed it. Luo Xian said, also showing a trace of pity. A battle between peak tier kings, 19 consecutive wins? Lu Ming also revealed an interested look. Young Master Lu, Lady Xia. There should be other battles coming up. Let's find a place to sit down. Luo Xian said. Then, they found an empty space and sat down. On the side, Chen Zhao's face was gloomy and he didn't say anything. Buzz! At this moment, A figure rushed into the fighting ring. It was a bald old man, and the aura of a Level 7 Martial King Realm expert was fully revealed. "Who wants to fight me?" the old man shouted. "I'm here to kill you." A bald man rushed up to the stage, also revealing his Level 7 Martial King Realm cultivation. "Haha, really? Your storage ring is mine." The old man sneered. "I should be the one saying that. I've taken a fancy to your storage ring." The bald man also sneered. A saber appeared in his hand and he charged at the bald old man. The bald old man took out an iron rod and welcomed the attack. Boom! Boom! The two of them were engaged in an intense battle. However, after a few dozen moves, the bald old man had the upper hand. "Haha, die!" The bald old man laughed as he swung his iron rod at the bald man like a storm. The bald burly man kept retreating. After more than 10 moves, the bald old man hit the bald burly man's chest with his stick. The bald burly man screamed in pain, and a series of bone-cracking sounds came from his body. He was sent flying back and fell on the fighting ring, blood spurting out of his mouth. "I admit defeat! I admit defeat!" The bald man roared. "Admit defeat? It's too late to admit defeat now, die!" The bald man roared and flew up. The iron rod smashed on the bald man's head, and the bald man's brain instantly burst open, dying on the spot. "Haha, the storage ring is mine." The bald old man put away the bald man's storage ring and laughed. Chapter 651 Life Bet. Why are you so happy? Your storage ring is mine. With a cold snort, an old OU Fei went up to the fighting ring. Old OU was dressed in a bright red robe, and his aura was at Level 7 Martial King Realm. It's Grandma Red Flower. She's about to make her move. She's a ruthless person who has won 5 consecutive rounds in the Level 7 Martial King Realm. That's right. She only acts when she sees that the harvest is great. The bald old man had just obtained a Level 7 Martial King Realm martial artist storage ring. Now, as long as we kill the bald old man, we'll be able to get 2 storage rings. Let's see if that bald old man dares to accept the challenge. Every time Red Flower Granny fought, her opponents would die miserably. As soon as old OU went on stage, a burst of exclamations came from the surroundings. "Grandma Red Flower." On the fighting ring, the bald old man's expression also changed greatly. "Die!" Granny Red Flower's face turned cold, and her killing intent spread. She was about to attack. Wait a minute, I admit defeat, I don't want to fight." The bald old man quickly called out. "Don't fight." Red Flower Granny's face darkened. "Hand over 200,000 supreme spiritual crystals. You're so gutless." The bald elder took out 200,000 spiritual crystals from his storage ring and handed them over to Granny Red Flower. Then, he left the fighting ring and flew to the stands. "Is there anyone who wants to fight me?" Grandma Red Flower put away the spiritual crystals and looked around. However, no one went up. Granny Red Flower was an extremely powerful Level 7 Martial King Realm martial artist and had few opponents. Who would want to go up there and die? After waiting for a while and seeing that no one went up, Red Flower Granny also left the fighting ring. "Well, it's quite interesting. Miss Luo, what are the rules of this life battle stage?" Lu Ming asked Luo Xian. "Young Master Lu, it's your first time here. It's normal that you don't know. Let me explain for you." Luo Xian smiled faintly and said, "As the name suggests, it's the life battle stage. You fight with your life. As long as you get on the battle stage, it's a gamble of life. The winner will win all of the other party's belongings. The loser will not only lose his life, but also all of his belongings. All of his storage rings will belong to the other party." Lu Ming explained. "Then how could that bold old man admit defeat?" Lu Ming asked. "There's a rule on the fated battle platform. Those with higher cultivation levels can't challenge those with lower cultivation levels. Of course, if those with lower cultivation levels challenge those with higher cultivation levels, it's up to them. Once you're on the fated battle platform and someone challenges you, you have to accept the challenge. However, you can admit defeat before the battle begins. As long as you hand over a certain number of supreme spiritual crystals to the opponent, you can skip the battle. Just now, when Red Flower Granny challenged the Bald Elder knew that he was no match for her. However, before the battle began, he immediately admitted defeat and could leave the stage as long as he handed over 200,000 supreme spiritual crystals to her. If he admitted defeat after the battle began, the Bald Elder could choose not to accept it until he defeated and killed his opponent to take all his belongings. Of course, the higher one's cultivation level is, the higher the price of admitting defeat. If a peak-tier king admits defeat before the battle, he will have to pay his opponent 1,000,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. Luo Xian explained to Lu Ming in detail. Then the death rate is very high? Lu Ming asked. Of course, after the war began, the death rate was as high as 80% to 90%. Only a few people could escape with their lives. Luo Xian said. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. The death rate was as high as 80% to 90%. Basically, once they went up, they would either win or die. Miss, why are you talking so much to him? A young master like him, who came from a major force, would never dare to step onto such a fighting stage. This is a real life and death battle, not a sparring match between fellow disciples. It's a life and death battle, a fight of everything. At the side, Chen Zhao revealed a mocking expression and said disdainfully. Lu Ming had caused him to lose face that time and he was still brooding over it. Oh, then do you dare to go up? Lu Ming looked at Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao's face stiffened, then he said, What do you know? My big brother has won 6 times in a row, and he's a peak-tier king. He's much stronger than the peak-tier kings of the blood-evil pirates. If my big brother was here last time, he wouldn't even need so many moves to kill them. Chen Zhao changed the topic and pointed at the brawny man in his 30s next to him. Why are you carrying your big brother out? I'm talking about you. You're also a level 7 martial king, right? If you're so awesome, why didn't you challenge Red Flower Granny? Lu Ming continued to ask. Chen Zhao's face stiffened and turned red. His combat strength was only considered ordinary among level 7 martial kings. Wouldn't he be courting death if he went up? However, Lu Ming had grasped this point and he could not refute it at all. Interesting. Beside him, Xian Yanqing muttered, showing his interest. Lu Ming smiled, his eyes revealing his interest. Lu Ming was more interested in the fact that he had to stake all his assets in one battle. Although he had gotten 80 million supreme spiritual crystals from the elders of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Institution, he had used up 18 million when he tried to break through to the peak-tier king realm, so he still had 60 million left. More than 60 million seemed like a lot. In fact, it was far from enough for Lu Ming. In the future, these spirit crystals wouldn't be enough to break through to the spiritual ocean tier. The spirit ocean realm was to open up the spirit ocean. A Zhenyuan ocean, the energy required was too much. The amount of true yuan a first-level spiritual ocean tier martial artist could store was more than 10 times that of a peak-tier king, or even more. Lu Ming needed 18 million supreme spiritual crystals to break through to the peak-tier king realm. Lu Ming estimated that he would need at least 300 million supreme spiritual crystals to open up the spirit sea realm. This was a conservative estimate. In fact, he might need more. He was still far from 300 million supreme spiritual crystals. Therefore, he needed to accumulate more supreme spiritual crystals. This life battle stage was a good channel. Furthermore, he could also train his martial arts techniques and devour his opponent's blood essence to increase the grade of his bloodline. It was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Lu Ming's gaze shifted to the life battle platform. At this moment, another person stepped into the air and stepped onto the fated battle platform. His aura spread out without any reservation. Peak-tier king. This was a peak-tier king. The atmosphere in the hall became lively again. Spiritual ocean tier warriors rarely participated in this kind of gambling battle, and peak king tier stood at the peak of king tiers. Each battle would attract the interest of a large number of martial artists. Who wants to fight me? This peak-tier king was a burly man in his 40s, and he looked around. I'll do it. A white-haired old man stepped onto the fighting ring and stood opposite the burly man. Without any unnecessary words, the two of them began to fight. The violent chi spread out in all directions and was extremely terrifying. However, A light screen rose around the fighting ring and blocked the chi. It was obvious that the fighting ring was engraved with a powerful inscription formation to prevent the audience from being hurt. The battle was intense, and the two peak-tier kings weren't weak. They weren't any weaker than the scar-faced man from the Blood Fiend Pirates. That's right, without a strong combat strength, one wouldn't dare to step onto the fated battle platform, or else it would be courting death. Chapter 652 Chen Dao. However, after more than 20 moves, the white-haired elder suddenly exploded and killed the middle-aged man in one fell swoop, snatching his storage ring. He's so powerful. Is this old man the spiritual turtle master of Golden Turtle Island? That's him. I didn't expect him to be on Golden Sand Island. No wonder he's so strong. Master Spiritual Turtle has been in closed-door cultivation for many years. His combat strength is unfathomable. I wonder who will challenge him next. Waves of discussions could be heard in the surroundings. This spiritual turtle sage is not bad. Lu Ming nodded. He could tell that the spiritual turtle lord's sudden burst of power was a secret technique that could increase his battle power, which was quite good for peak-tier kings. Not bad? Hee, what big words. You sound like you're very strong. On the side, Chen Zhao showed a contemptuous smile. Lu Ming was speechless. Was this guy crazy? Wasn't it just that he did not take action that time? After that, she targeted him in every way. Lu Ming ignored such a narrow-minded person and did not even look at Chen Zhao. Seeing that Lu Ming had ignored him, Chen Zhao's expression turned even uglier. Who wants to fight me? Master Spiritual Turtle looked around, and for a moment, no one spoke. Hee, it seems like no one is going to fight. Master Spiritual Turtle sneered. I'll do it. At this moment, Chen Zhao's elder brother stood up beside him, and a powerful aura emanated from him. Chen Zhao's big brother was called Chen Dao. Chen Dao took a step forward and appeared on the life battle platform. It's Chen Dao. Chen Dao is going to fight. It's going to be interesting. Chen Dao has won 7 times in a row. He's extremely powerful and is one of the generals of the Flame Chamber of Commerce. If he fights Master Spiritual Turtle, haha, it must be intense. Chen Dao's appearance made many people excited. Big Brother has made his move. Chen Zhao's eyes lit up. He then looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, let's wait and see. Let's see how strong my big brother is. Let's see how strong a peak-tier king can be. However, he realized that Lu Ming had ignored him again. This made him rather depressed. Young man, you have guts. You dare to challenge me? Master Spiritual Turtle looked at Chen Dao and said coldly, Are you going to fight or surrender? Chen Dao's reply was simple but full of confidence. What big words. I've been in seclusion for decades. The youngsters nowadays are getting more and more arrogant. Let me teach you how to respect your elders. Bang! As soon as he finished speaking, he rushed toward Chen Dao as fast as lightning. At the same time, a powerful aura burst out of his body. It was that kind of secret technique. Although the spiritual turtle was arrogant and confident, it used its full strength when it attacked. It did not dare to underestimate its opponent. Knowing his reputation and still daring to challenge him, how could he be a weakling? He had lived for hundreds of years, and he was very clear about this. A powerful fist force was sent towards Chen Dao. However, Chen Dao didn't move at all. When the fist force of the spiritual turtle sage approached, his eyes suddenly lit up. He moved. When he moved, it meant that he had drawn his saber. A bright blade light lit up, as if it had cut the space in half. Lord Spiritual Turtle's fist force was also split in half. He was shocked and retreated frantically to avoid the blade. But Chen Dao's attack had just begun. Kill! Dang! Chen Dao shouted with astonishing momentum. The pale saber light lit up again, stronger and sharper than the previous one. It instantly broke through the void and slashed toward Master Spiritual Turtle. Not good! Lord Spiritual Turtle was shocked. He waved his fists and a thick turtle shell formed in front of him. Clang! The blade light hit the turtle shell, causing it to shake violently and crack. Before Lord Spirit Turtle could even take a breath, Chen Dao had already made the third strike, followed by the fourth and the fifth. Saber after saber, each stronger than the last, slashed at Lord Spiritual Turtle without end. When he made the seventh cut, his turtle shell exploded and the saber light flashed. Immediately, Chen Dao retracted his blade. Lord Spiritual Turtle's eyes widened. A line of blood appeared between his eyebrows and extended downward. Plop! Lord Spiritual Turtle fell down and was cut in half. Master Spiritual Turtle was dead. Deafening cheers came from the crowd. Chen Dao had killed the Spiritual Turtle Sage and advanced to 8 consecutive wins. It was rare to see someone win 8 matches in a row. This meant that 8 peak-tier kings had died at Chen Dao's hands. Hee, did you see that? This is my big brother's strength. Chen Zhao glanced at Lu Ming smugly. Not bad, Lu Ming said calmly. He did think that Chen Dao was not bad. Chen Dao's battle power was probably close to the Holy Star. Of course, Chen Dao was already over 30 years old, which was 10 years older than Sacred Constellation. He had spent 10 more years on martial techniques, intent, and physical body. In terms of potential, he could not be compared to Sacred Constellation. The list of top 1,000 talents in the Eastern Barren Territory selected young people under 30 years old. It not only looked at cultivation, but also talent, ability to fight above one's level, and potential. Some powerful forces had abundant resources and could produce a group of young peak-tier king tiers, but these people couldn't make it to the list of top 1,000 talents. You're really boasting. How many peak-tier kings can match my big brother's battle power? Chen Zhao sneered. Frog in the well. It was Xian Yanqing who spoke. You. What did he say? Chen Zhao's face turned red. Someone is going up to challenge him. Lu Ming ignored Chen Zhao and looked at the fighting ring. Chen Zhao also looked over. A young man in a blood-red robe stepped onto the fighting ring. This young man was about 26 or 27 years old. He had a cold expression and a faint sneer hung on the corner of his mouth. Humph. He really doesn't know his own strength. He dares to challenge my big brother. He's just courting death. Chen Zhao laughed sarcastically. However, Chen Dao, who was on the fighting ring, looked serious. The other party was just standing there casually, but he made him feel as if he was facing a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. He was under great pressure. Furthermore, the other party was so young, not even 30 years old, yet he dared to step onto the stage. He was definitely not simple. How should I address you? Chen Dao asked. Blood Gang. The young man's face darkened. Shuagong. Chen Dao muttered to himself for a while and then let out a sigh of relief. He had thought that his opponent might be a top talent on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Eastern Barren Territory. If he really was on the list, he would have to consider whether to fight or not. However, Gang Shui's name wasn't on the list of top 1,000 talents. Obviously, he wasn't a sovereign on the list. Fight or surrender? Shui Gang's gloomy voice sounded. Fight. Chen Dao replied firmly. Hee, good, I was really afraid that you would surrender. Shui Gang licked his lips, and his expression became even colder. Boom! In the next moment, blood chi shot up into the sky from Shui Gang's body. A huge blood-red palm floated above his head with 7 Esilavirar chakras levering around it. King level 7th rank bloodline. Chen Dao's face changed. Those with second bloodlines who could reach the 7th level of the king level were absolute geniuses. For example, Qin Qing Shan and the Holy Star were both 7th level kings. A battle blade was floating above Chen Dao's head. It was only a 6th level king class bloodline. Bloodline martial skill. Blood flame palm. Shui Gang's palm shot out, and the air exploded, even turning into liquid. A blood-colored palm print shot towards Chen Dao. Buzz! Chen Dao attacked with his blade, and the blade light was extremely dazzling. But this time, Chen Dao's blade light didn't split the blood palm print. Instead, the blade light was dispersed by the blood palm. Chen Dao's face changed and he roared. The second slash was even stronger than the first. However, Shui Gang's blood-colored palm prints arrived again. One after another, they were extremely overbearing. Chen Dao continued to attack, the 6th, the 7th. Soon, it was his 7th saber move. Before, he had killed the spiritual turtle sage with the 7th saber move, but now, he was still at a disadvantage. Chen Dao roared and slashed out the 8th and 9th blade. The blade light was resplendent as it split the palm print, but there were countless palm prints that followed, one after another. After the 9th slash, Chen Dao's body retreated rapidly. Bloodline martial skill. That is a heaven-level upper-class bloodline martial skill. Chen Dao is going to lose. A white-haired old man in the stands exclaimed. What? He has learned a bloodline martial technique. Many people were shocked. Bloodline martial technique? Lu Ming muttered. The so-called bloodline martial technique was the martial technique that a martial artist comprehended from his own bloodline. The bloodline of a martial artist contained endless wealth. It was not as simple as a pure bloodline explosion. The martial skills that a warrior comprehended from his or her own bloodline were the ones that truly belonged to him or her. They were the most compatible with him or her, and when he or she cultivated them, they would be extremely powerful. After all, the martial skills of others belong to others. How could they be compared with their own bloodline martial skills? For example, if two warriors both cultivated to the 6th level of the heaven grade superior class martial technique, but one of them cultivated a bloodline martial technique that was comprehended from his own bloodline, then the power would be at least 50% or even 100% stronger than the other's martial technique. The difference was too great. However, it was too difficult to comprehend bloodline martial techniques from one's own bloodline. It required a unique talent. Moreover, the higher the bloodline level, the stronger the bloodline martial technique might be. From one's bloodline, one could not only comprehend martial skills, but also secret skills, which were called bloodline secret skills. For example, Qin Qingshan and Saint Constellation, whom Lu Ming had met before, had both comprehended the secret bloodline technique. On the other hand, Xian Yanqing's palm would form a beautiful arm that would attack his opponent. That was the bloodline martial skill. However, Lu Ming had yet to comprehend the bloodline martial arts technique. First, the bloodline of the 9 dragons was not his own bloodline, but awakened by a drop of 9 dragon blood essence. It was very difficult to comprehend bloodline martial techniques from it. In fact, the devouring power could be regarded as a special bloodline secret skill of the 9 dragons bloodline. As for the second bloodline, it had always been shrouded in fog. Lu Ming could not comprehend it even if he wanted to. The bloodline martial techniques that special bloodlines could comprehend were even more powerful. This was especially true for natural-type bloodlines. For example, the fire bloodline was a fire-type martial technique that he had comprehended, and it just so happened to be able to complement his fire concept, making it even more powerful. In this aspect, it was something that other demonic beast bloodlines couldn't compare to. On the other hand, Gang Shui had comprehended the concept of blood. When combined with blood-related martial skills, his power was extremely powerful. Die! Shui Gang took a big step forward and his blood concept spread out, enveloping Chen Dao. Chen Dao even had a feeling that the blood in his body was slowly drying up. The mentality of blood was a special kind of mentality. It was extremely powerful and overbearing. If one was hit by Shui Gang's move that was combined with the mentality of blood, it could directly devour the opponent's blood, causing the opponent's blood to dry up and die. Break! Chen Dao's blade light slashed out again, but it was useless. It was completely suppressed. Big brother, how could this be? How did this happen? Chen Zhao's face was deathly pale, and he was extremely worried. His elder brother was his backer. In fact, he was just a guard of the Flame Chamber of Commerce. It was because of his elder brother that he had a special position in the Flame Chamber of Commerce. He could get close to Luo Xian and even pursue her. If his big brother died, he, an ordinary 7th-level martial king, would be nothing in a place like the chaotic astral ocean. He would only be an ordinary guard in the Flame Chamber of Commerce. His big brother was his everything. Now, his big brother was in danger. Brother Chen Dao! Luo Xian's hands were also tightly clenched, extremely nervous. Chen Dao was a general of the Flame Chamber of Commerce. He could even be said to be the strongest expert. If Chen Dao died, the Flame Chamber of Commerce would suffer a great loss. What do we do? What do we do? Luo Xian was extremely anxious. Boom! Boom! Shui Gang's attacks were getting stronger and stronger, and Chen Dao was already tired of dealing with them. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. Chen Dao shouted. Admit defeat? I won't allow it. Shui Gang sneered. Don't think that you're the one who killed me. Seeing that he had no choice but to admit defeat, Chen Dao let out a long howl. His messy hair fluttered in the wind, and the aura on his body actually increased by a small amount. He became one with his blade, turning into a bright blade light that shot up into the sky. Chen Dao planned to escape. It's not that easy to escape. Shui Gang turned into a bloody light and chased after him, throwing out a palm. Bang! Chen Dao was hit by the palm and coughed up blood, but he couldn't care about his injury anymore. He ran for his life and flew to the stands. Blood Gang gave chase. I'll give you 2 million supreme spiritual crystals if you let me go. Otherwise, you might not be able to kill me if I try to escape. Chen Dao roared and started to beg for mercy. He turned into a blade light and fled in all directions. Gutless rat. 5 million supreme spiritual crystals, not a single one less. Shui Gang roared. 5 million it is. His life was more important, so Chen Dao threw a storage ring to Gang Shui. Blood just caught it, scanned it with his mind, and then stopped chasing. You're lucky, but you're really boring. Shui Gang didn't pursue him. He returned to the fighting ring. Chen Dao turned into a blade light and flew back to the stands. He grabbed a pill and swallowed it. He started to heal himself. Luo Xian and Chen Zhao heaved a sigh of relief when they finally survived. Even though the process was embarrassing. There's always a higher mountain. Lu Ming said softly. Chen Zhao's face and ears turned red. Lu Ming's words were obviously meant for him. Humph. My big brother won 8 consecutive victories. It's nothing strange for him to meet someone stronger. If you go up there, I'm afraid you'll die in less than 2 rounds. Chen Zhao was still stubborn. Is that so? Lu Ming smiled and said to Xian Yanqing, let's go. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming in surprise. Then, he followed Lu Ming out. Humph, cowards don't dare to fight in the end. Chen Zhao mocked. Buzz. Lu Ming suddenly turned around and threw a slap. Pa! A slap landed directly on Chen Zhao's face. Blood and teeth flew everywhere, and one side of Chen Zhao's face instantly bulged. He was stunned and looked at Lu Ming in a daze. After a while, he came to his senses and roared hysterically. You dare to hit me? I'm going to ask my big brother to kill you, to kill you. Lu Ming takes action. Pa! Lu Ming turned his hand and gave Chen Zhao another slap on the other side of his face. Lu Ming controlled his strength very well and did not send Chen Zhao flying. Immediately, the other side of his face also swelled up. If you continue to talk nonsense, do you believe that I will kill you and your big brother right now? Lu Ming said coldly. Chen Zhao immediately shut up. His elder brother was recuperating now. If Lu Ming really wanted to kill him, the two of them would be finished. Luo Xian did not say anything either. She also felt that Chen Zhao had gone too far. He had been targeting Lu Ming all this while. Lu Ming was already considered to have a good temper by not killing him. Lu Ming smiled faintly and turned to leave. Seeing that Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing had disappeared from the grandstand, Chen Zhao's eyes were filled with resentment. He growled, "Little bastard, when my big brother's injuries are healed, I'll pay you back 10 times what you did today." Luo Xian secretly shook her head. This kind of trash still wants to pursue her. If it wasn't for Chen Dao's sake, Luo Xian wouldn't even bother with him. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing walked out and strolled along the streets. "I thought you were going to fight Shui Gang." Xian Yanqing said. "Do you think I'll be goaded into action by that idiot? How is that possible? This is a good place. If I go down and defeat Shui Gang, many people won't dare to go up." Lu Ming smiled faintly. "Oh, what are your plans?" Xian Yanqing asked. "One by one, of course. I can practice my fist technique and earn spiritual crystals at the same time. It's killing two birds with one stone. Lu Ming smiled. His eyes lit up and he walked into a mask shop. I understand. Xian Yanqing smiled and followed him in. After that, Lu Ming bought an Azura mask while Xian Yanqing bought a Yuxia mask. After buying the masks, the two of them bought a set of black robes and put them on. Then, they walked to the fated battle platform and paid 200 supreme spiritual crystals each. Lu Ming put on the Azura mask, while Xian Yanqing wore the Yuxia mask. Shui Gang had already left the fighting ring, so no one would want to challenge him. Who's going first? Lu Ming asked Xian Yanqing in a low voice. Anything is fine. Then I'll go first. With that, Lu Ming moved and appeared on the fighting ring. Another person is going up the stage. What cultivation base is he at this time? Seeing someone go up the stage, the audience's spirits were lifted. They had spent 200 supreme spiritual crystals to watch the battle. If no one fought, then the spiritual crystals would have been wasted. At this moment, Lu Ming's aura spread out, telling everyone that he was a peak-tier king. Another peak-tier king has stepped onto the stage. What's wrong with this person? Blood has just dropped, and he's already coming up. Isn't he afraid that Blood will come back and challenge him? I don't think so. Shui Gang will at least wait for the opponent to fight once or twice before he makes a move. If he's too weak, I don't think he'll make a move. That Shui Gang is definitely a rising genius. He's too strong. If the list of top 1,000 talents is rearranged, he might be able to make it. Sounds of discussion could be heard in the surroundings. Who's going to fight? Lu Ming looked around and said loudly. What? As soon as Lu Ming's voice was heard, Chen Zhao and Luo Xian's expressions changed. Lu Ming did not change his voice. They could tell that it was Lu Ming's voice. That brat is finally going on stage. Hee, wear a mask and play tricks. Let's see how many rounds he can win. Don't die in the first round. Chen Zhao sneered. Luo Xian frowned and ignored Chen Zhao. Instead, she looked at the figure on the fighting ring curiously. She did not know why, but she felt that Lu Ming was not simple. Lu Ming said indifferently. Kid, what did you say? The large-eyed old man was slightly taken aback. I told you to stop talking nonsense and take this. I'm going to kill you, Lu Ming said softly. A violent fist force was blasted toward the large-eyed elder. Let's see what you can do. A battle axe appeared in the large-eyed elder's hand and he swung it down, splitting Lu Ming's fist force in half. However, before he could rejoice, the next fist force came attacking him. He could only swing the axe down again. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming's left and right fists were at full strength. Fist radiance burst out continuously like meteors streaking across the void. The large-eyed elder's combat strength was not bad. He was stronger than the peak-tier king of the Blood Fiend pirates. However, he was still completely suppressed by Lu Ming. This was the result of Lu Ming suppressing his essential core. Lu Ming was using him to practice his martial arts. In the past, Lu Ming could still condense a figure that looked exactly like him in the Supreme Shrine to practice martial arts techniques as long as he had spirit crystals. However, as his cultivation level rose to the Martial King realm, that function became useless. It was just an inscription formation set up by the Nine Suns Supreme after he was severely injured. Its power was limited. However, after Lu Ming reached the Martial King realm, the energy in his body was too great, and his attack power was even more terrifying. The formation could not be replicated at all. Therefore, Lu Ming had to find his own opponents to cultivate his martial arts techniques. The large-eyed old man was suppressed by Lu Ming's fist force. He roared in anger. No matter how strong his cultivation was or what powerful martial arts technique he used, he was still suppressed by Lu Ming. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. The large-eyed old man was finally scared and shouted that he admitted defeat. I won't allow it. A faint voice came out of Lu Ming's mouth. Not allowed? Don't think that you can kill me. The big-eyed old man roared in anger and flew up into the sky. He actually tried to escape like Chen Dao. You can't escape. Boom! Lu Ming's essential core had increased and his fist force was more violent. He threw a punch and the air in front of the fist force was completely sucked dry, forming a vacuum tunnel. The violent fist force collided with the battle axe of the large-eyed elder and exploded. The large-eyed old man spat out blood as he roared. His body fell and Lu Ming's follow-up fist force bombarded him again. Bang! Bang! After a few consecutive punches, the large-eyed elder screamed as his body exploded and he died on the spot. Buzz! Lu Ming moved and devoured the large-eyed old man's blood essence. Then he kept his storage ring. We won! In the stands, Luo Xian revealed a trace of excitement. Humph! He only won one round. That big-eyed old man's battle strength isn't high either. He's far from my big brother. Chen Zhao pouted. You can shut up. On the side, Chen Dao coldly glanced at Chen Zhao and scolded him. Now that his injuries had stabilized, Chen Zhao's expression changed, and he immediately shut up, not daring to say anything more. Who else wants to fight? Lu Ming's voice was heard from the fighting ring. Killing 3 people in a row. Lu Ming looked around and his voice was clear. I'll do it. A red-haired man stepped on the air and flew onto the fighting ring. As expected, someone has made a move. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. He had suppressed his true qi just now, and it seemed that he was not much stronger than the big-eyed old man. His purpose was to attract others to fight. If his performance was too strong, how would the others dare to go up the stage? Now, the red-haired man was on the stage. What's your name? The red-haired man asked. Shura. Lu Ming replied indifferently. Shura? Hee. Kill. All of a sudden, the red-haired burly man made his move. A flaming saber ray that was 1,000 meters long and incomparably hot slashed at Lu Ming. Exploding star fist. Lu Ming threw a punch. The explosive fist force collided with the other party's saber flare, shaking the fighting ring. Bang! Lu Ming's fist force was actually destroyed. The scorching saber ray continued to slash at Lu Ming. Die! The red-haired man's body was covered in blazing flames, and his face was extremely ferocious. Your combat strength is not bad. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. This red-haired man's battle power was much stronger than the big-eyed old man's. No wonder he dared to go on stage. Then let's add 2 more points. Lu Ming smiled and threw another punch. Boom! This fist force was twice as strong as the previous one. It broke through the red-haired man's saber light and continued to attack him. Ah, you were hiding your strength just now. The red-haired man roared and revealed a look of fear. He burst out with all his strength and madly slashed with his saber. However, the result was the same. Just like the big-eyed elder, he was completely suppressed by Lu Ming. After a few dozen moves, he was killed by Lu Ming with 1 punch. The exploding star fist is approaching the 3rd level. Lu Ming muttered and put away the storage ring. He also devoured the red-haired hunk's blood essence. After devouring the blood essence of 2 peak-tier kings, the 9-dragon bloodline began to rumble. Refine! Lu Ming stood on the fighting ring and began to refine his blood essence while waiting for other people to challenge him. The surroundings fell silent. For a moment, no one stepped forward. Although Lu Ming had killed 2 people in a row and obtained their storage rings, the others could not figure out Lu Ming's combat strength at the moment. Humph! Chen Zhao snorted coldly, his expression ugly. He said that it would be considered good if Lu Ming could win 1 round. However, Lu Ming had already won 2 rounds in a row. This made him very unhappy. 2 minutes. Lu Ming stood in the fighting ring for 2 minutes. He used the power of blood essence in the 9-dragon bloodline to upgrade his 2nd bloodline. The amount of blood essence required for the 9-dragon bloodline to advance to the 9th level of the king class was too much. Lu Ming planned to advance his 2nd bloodline to the 8th level of the king class first before he advanced his 9-dragon bloodline. Buzz! At this moment, a figure rushed up the fighting ring. It was a tall and thin middle-aged man. Everyone's spirits were lifted. Finally, someone else went up the stage. Lu Ming's gaze shifted to the middle-aged man. Azura, your fist force is very powerful, but as long as I don't take it head-on, I'll see what you can do. Before he could finish his sentence, The expert's figure moved and turned into a series of shadows, pouncing toward Lu Ming. As soon as he finished speaking, the tall and thin man had already turned into 18 shadows and surrounded Lu Ming. The sharp sword aura pierced through the air and was aimed at Lu Ming's vital points. 18 shadows and 18 flashes of sword chi were extremely sharp. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming threw a few punches in succession, hitting a few figures. The few figures collapsed and disappeared. Phantom! Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. He dodged the sword chi attack and punched out with both fists. One after another, the fist force pierced through the void and landed on the figures. In the blink of an eye, 7 or 8 figures collapsed, but they were all illusions and not corporeal. The remaining figures moved again and continued to pounce on Lu Ming. In the process of pouncing, the number of illusions increased again, and there were 18 of them. Every one of them looked real, and even their auras were exactly the same. Ha ha die! The 18 figures sneered at the same time. Lu Ming's figure dodged continuously, avoiding the attacks. At the same time, he continued to blast out his fist force. The tall, thin man's illusion was constantly being shattered, but after each time it was shattered, it would recover. The two of them were in a state of anxiety, and in the blink of an eye, they had exchanged more than 50 moves. It seems that the Shura has met his match. That's right. The Shura's Zhan Yuan is rich, and his fist force is powerful and overbearing. However, his weakness is also obvious. The other party is using an unpredictable movement technique to tie him down, so his fist force is useless. Wearing an Azura mask to imitate the King of Hell is not on the same level after all. The difference is too great. The surrounding audience expressed their opinions one after another. In the process of their discussion, dozens of moves had passed in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Lu Ming felt that his circulation of the exploding star fist was becoming more and more smooth. Boom! Suddenly, he threw a punch, which was much more powerful than before. The tall and thin man was shocked. Haha, I've finally reached the 3rd level of the exploding star fist. It's time to end this battle. Lu Ming smiled in his heart. Boom! Lu Ming stomped on the fighting ring and soared into the sky. He then looked down from high above and blasted out a series of fist forces. In an instant, Lu Ming had thrown dozens of punches. Dozens of fist forces streaked across the sky like dozens of meteors and landed on the fighting ring. And the power of each one was stronger than before. So many! The tall and thin man was shocked. He tried his best to dodge, but there were still illusions that dissipated. 18 became 17, 16. In the blink of an eye, there were only 2 or 3 left. Just as he was about to continue changing his form, dozens of fist forces came crashing down from the sky. No! The tall and thin man roared. In the next moment, he was drowned by dozens of fist forces. The fighting ring let out a violent roar. When the fist force disappeared, the tall and thin man was lying there like a pool of mud, without the slightest breath. Just like before, the blood essence and the storage ring would all belong to Lu Ming. 3 consecutive wins. Lu Ming had already won 3 consecutive wins. Moreover, they won in a row, not in a few days. Many people's winning streak was actually the sum of many days. Just like Chen Dao, he occasionally came to fight and added up his winning streak. It was very difficult to win in a short period of time, because continuous battles consumed a lot of true yuan, and the challengers would only get stronger and stronger. Who's going to fight? Lu Ming continued to look around. Hee, that's enough, that's enough. You've already obtained 3 storage rings. Now it's my turn to deal with you. A sneer was heard, and a red figure appeared on the fighting ring in a flash. It's Shui Gang. He's going to attack again. Looks like he's been waiting all this time. Now that he's seen Azura win 3 rounds in a row, he's finally making his move. I just don't know if Azura dares to accept the challenge. Shui Gang, he just defeated Chen Dao. Cries of alarm came from all around. Killing Gang Blood. The person on the stage was Gang Shui, who had defeated Chen Dao. Blood Gang. Chen Dao's eyes flashed. Lu Ming. Luo Xin, on the other hand, showed a trace of worry. Lu Ming, aren't you very powerful? If you have the ability, accept the battle. Don't ever surrender. Chen Zhao's eyes flickered with resentment. He hated Lu Ming to the core. His face was still swollen. He hoped that Lu Ming would accept the challenge. If he did, he would definitely die at Shuigang's hands. Azura, that's a very domineering name. I just don't know if you have the guts. Shuigang sneered. Courage? What is courage? Lu Ming smiled faintly. I'm afraid you'll surrender before the battle. Shuigang licked his lips. Hee, Gang Shui, you don't need to provoke me. You've come at the right time. I can use you to practice my fist techniques. Lu Ming said. Haha, so you're not going to surrender? Haha, good. Shuigang was overjoyed. Blood flame palm. A blood-red palm print shot out from Shuigang's hand. He could not wait to launch an attack on Lu Ming. In his opinion, Lu Ming now had all the assets of 3 peak-tier kings. Including Lu Ming's own, it would be the assets of 4 peak-tier kings. How much wealth would the 4 peak-tier kings have? If Lu Ming surrendered without a fight, 1 million best-grade spirit crystals would be enough. Wouldn't he suffer a huge loss? At this moment, Shuigang's heart was burning. The blood-colored palm print shook the space and a bloody smell filled the air. Exploding star fist. Lu Ming threw a punch. The fist force collided with Shuigang's palm print, but it was instantly destroyed by the bloody palm print. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming threw dozens of punches in a row. However, Shuigang struck a few more times and completely destroyed Lu Ming's fist radiance. Hee, although your fist force is strong and fierce, you are still far from being able to fight me. Shuigang sneered. This Shuigang seems to be a new genius. His combat strength is not bad, and he's not weaker than the sacred constellation from a few months ago. Lu Ming thought in his heart. However, Lu Ming was much stronger than he was a few months ago. If Lu Ming were to unleash his full power now, he could kill the sacred constellation from a few months ago in one move. Of course, Lu Ming would not do that. First of all, he had to practice his fist techniques and attract more powerful opponents. Then I'll increase my true essence by another 20%. Circulating his essential core, Lu Ming threw another punch. A vacuum tunnel appeared and it collided with Shuigang's sanguine flame palm. The fist force and the blood flame palm both disappeared. He's even hiding his strength? Shuigang's expression changed. Lu Ming's fist force could still be improved. He had a bad feeling about this. The few people earlier were killed by Lu Ming in this way. Kill! Dang! Shuigang roared as his blood meridian exploded. The bloody palm print became even more overbearing as the will of blood enveloped Lu Ming. The bloodline martial technique was a heaven-level upper-class bloodline martial technique. It was extremely powerful. In terms of power, it was even more powerful than Lu Ming's 3 absolutes of the Dragon God. After all, the Dragon God's 3 absolutes was a martial technique that Lu Ming cultivated from someone else. It could not be compared to bloodline martial arts techniques. Shuigang used all his strength and his power was doubled. His attacks drowned Lu Ming like a storm. It's finally getting interesting. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Boom! In the next moment, raging flames started to burn around his body. It was the fire concept. Of course, Lu Ming had only used one kind of fire concept. When the fire concept was integrated with Explosive Starfist, it made the power of the Explosive Starfist even more terrifying. Each fist force was like a burning meteor, full of brutal aura. The fist force and Shuigang's blood-colored palm print collided with each other. As for Gang Shui's concept of blood, the energy that could drain blood was of no use to Lu Ming. Could it be compared to the devouring power of the 9-dragon bloodline? As long as the 9-dragon bloodline was activated, the blood concept would lose its effect. In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves had passed. Just like the previous battle, Lu Ming began to gain the upper hand again. How did this happen? Many people widened their eyes. Chen Zhao, in particular, was simply unbelievable. Shuigang roared continuously as he broke out in a cold sweat. He was actually being suppressed. Could it be that he was going to end up like the previous few people and be killed by Lu Ming? No, I can't. He's a peerless Heaven's Pride expert and has the chance to break into the list of top 1,000 talents. This time, he came to the chaotic astral ocean to train himself and prepare for the upcoming Battle of Kismet. How could he die? However, no matter how hard he tried, he was still suppressed by Lu Ming. He could feel that Lu Ming's fist force was getting stronger and stronger. Every time the fist force exploded, he felt a pain as if his skin was being torn apart. Let's go! Dang! Shui Gang roared and rushed into the sky, trying to escape. Can you leave? Lu Ming stepped on the air, his speed faster than Shui Gang's. He appeared in front of Shui Gang in an instant and punched him. Shui Gang did not expect Lu Ming's speed to be so terrifying. In a hurry, he managed to block with his palm, but the palm print was destroyed by Lu Ming. His body flew off the fighting ring like a cannonball and landed heavily on the fighting ring, blood spurting out of his mouth. Lu Ming chased after him. Wait a minute, I admit defeat. Azura, let me tell you, I'm a member of the Heavenly Corpse sect. If you kill me, the Heavenly Corpse sect will never let you off. Shui Gang shouted. The Heavenly Corpse sect. Lu Ming was slightly stunned. Didn't the Heavenly Corpse sect toy with those refined corpses all day long? How come Shui Gang didn't have a refined corpse? Seeing that Lu Ming was stunned, Shui Gang thought that Lu Ming was afraid. He shouted again. Azura, as long as you let me go, I can let bygones be bygones. What do you think? Hee, Shui Gang. Have you forgotten that this is the chaotic astral ocean? The Heavenly Corpse sect can't control this place. Moreover, the people of the Heavenly Corpse sect deserve to die even more. Dang! Lu Ming said in a cold voice. Then, he dashed toward Shui Gang. Damn it! Shui Gang roared and tried his best to resist, but the result was already determined. After a few moves, he was bombarded by Lu Ming's punches and his body exploded. Shui Gang was dead. This genius of the Sky Corpse sect had defeated Chen Dao, who had won 8 times in a row, and was killed by Azura. The atmosphere at the scene was pushed to a climax, and everyone cheered excitedly. Kill, good kill. Haha, this is too exciting. That's right. It's indeed exciting for a young genius to be killed. That idiot actually brought up the Heavenly Corpse sect. In the chaotic astral ocean, it doesn't matter who comes. Azura is so powerful. He has won 4 times in a row. He even killed Shui Gang. He sounds young. Is he another young genius? Very possible. Hell King is also a young genius, and he's most likely a peerless genius on the list of top 1,000 talents. This Azura is most likely a peerless genius as well. Too many young geniuses have come to the chaotic astral ocean recently. The clamor, cheers, and discussions rose and fell. No one dared to fight. I didn't expect Lu Ming to be so powerful. In the stands, Luo Xian's eyes were shining. I'm not as good as him. Chen Dao sighed. How could this be? How did this happen? Chen Zhao kept roaring in his heart. He couldn't bear it. Previously, he kept talking about how powerful and terrifying his big brother was in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming was nothing in front of his big brother. He was very proud and arrogant. But now. Previously, his big brother had been defeated by Shui Gang and had almost been killed. He had fled in embarrassment and had only managed to save his life with 5 million supreme spiritual crystals. However, Shui Gang, who was torturing his big brother, had been killed by Lu Ming. What was this? Every word he had said before was a joke, a blatant joke. Perhaps in Lu Ming's eyes, he was just a clown telling some ridiculous jokes. Damn it, damn it! Chen Zhao roared in his heart. His self-esteem had suffered a serious blow. Is there anyone else who wants to fight? Lu Ming asked loudly. No one made a sound, and no one went up the stage. Lu Ming waited for a few minutes but no one went on stage. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong today. Even if there were people stronger than Shui Gang, they would consider it and not attack easily. After a few minutes, no one made a move. Lu Ming flew down the fighting ring and came to Xian Yanqing's side. It's my turn. Xian Yanqing said lightly as he flew up to the fighting ring. His aura spread out. Peak Tier King. Another Peak Tier King. And he's wearing a Yuxia mask. Could he be another expert? That's impossible. How can there be so many experts? Looking at the figure, it seems to be a woman. As soon as Xian Yanqing went up, there was a lot of discussion. Who's going to fight? Xian Yanqing spoke. His voice was clear but cold. It's Miss Xie. Luo Xian immediately recognized Xian Yanqing's voice. Could it be that Miss Xie's combat strength is also very strong? Luo Xian whispered. Humph. Chen Zhao snorted coldly, his eyes flashing with viciousness. He secretly prayed that Xian Yanqing would be killed. It's a young woman. The audience around them could tell that Xian Yanqing was young. I'll fight you. Finally, someone went on stage. Without any unnecessary words, Xian Yanqing launched his attack. Xian Yanqing did not use the demonic force field or her bloodline martial arts technique. She mainly used the will of destruction and the will of wind. She wanted to use Lu Ming's method to merge the two wills with the help of external forces. Therefore, Xian Yanqing didn't seem to be very strong, and he was in a stalemate with his opponent. Lu Ming diverted some of his attention to watch the battle while refining the blood essence. After devouring the blood essence of 4 Peak Tier Kings, he used it all to improve his second bloodline. The power of his second bloodline rapidly increased. On the fighting ring, Xian Yanqing exchanged hundreds of moves with his opponent before he finally killed him. Because Xian Yanqing's combat strength wasn't very strong, and after a few hundred moves, the others thought that they had an advantage. Unfortunately, the result was the same. After another few hundred moves, he was still killed. After that, no one else went on stage. At this moment, Lu Ming's blood essence was almost refined. His second bloodline had not been upgraded yet, but Lu Ming felt that it would be soon. It was close. Let's go. Xian Yanqing jumped down from the ring and left the ring with Lu Ming. After a few battles, they needed to go back and digest it. But soon, the names of Shura and Yuxia would spread all over Golden Sand Island. The two of them left the life battle platform and found a hidden place. They removed their black robes and masks, then found an inn and booked 2 rooms. He sat cross-legged in the room of the inn. With a thought, Lu Ming appeared in the Supreme Shrine. After 4 battles, Lu Ming had a new understanding of the explosive Star Fist. He wanted to use the Path Understanding Ancient Tree to gain some insight. He placed the Path Understanding Ancient Tree on the side. The Path Understanding Ancient Tree was growing better and better. The tender leaf had grown a little more, turned a little green, and was crystal clear. The aura of the Great Path lingered on it, becoming more and more mysterious. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming took out a large handful of spiritual herbs, squeezed out the medicinal liquid, and sprinkled it all on the Xianhuang silicotic earth. Leave some for me. Dandan's eyes turned red with heartache when she saw Lu Ming turning a large pile of spirit herbs into liquid. I'll give you a few. Lu Ming threw a few spiritual herbs to Dandan, but he sighed in his heart. He was too good at using up resources. His own cultivation consumed a terrifying amount of resources, 10 times more than others. Furthermore, the cultivation of the 10,000 spiritual combat body required a lot of resources. The growth of the Path Understanding Ancient Tree required a large amount of spiritual liquid. If there was no spiritual liquid, he could only replace it with medicinal liquid. Also, if Dandan wanted to recover, she couldn't do without spirit herbs. The speed at which he consumed resources was too terrifying. Ordinary people would definitely not be able to withstand it. It was only because he had killed many enemies during this period of time and obtained a large amount of resources that he could barely bear it. However, as long as these resources could be converted into strength, it was worth it. Lu Ming took a deep breath and cast the distracting thoughts out of his mind. With the help of the Path Understanding Ancient Tree, he began to comprehend the bursting Star Fist. During this time, he didn't have a chance to use the Path Understanding Ancient Tree. Using the Path Understanding Ancient Tree, his comprehension of the explosive Star Fist had increased by a large margin. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. The next day, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing went to the life battle platform again. This was a great place, and they didn't want to miss it. It was a pity that no one challenged Lu Ming today. In a fit of anger, he announced on the spot that he would come every day to wait for the challenge of an expert. As for Xian Yanqing, someone who challenged her was not weak, but he was killed by Xian Yanqing. Your method is not bad. I'll go into seclusion for a few days. Xian Yanqing said to Lu Ming. He seemed to have gained something. Lu Ming returned to the inn and continued to cultivate with the path understanding ancient tree. The next day, he went to the life battle platform again. Still no one challenged him. For the next 3 days, Lu Ming went to the life battle platform every day, but no one challenged him. After he returned, he went to the Supreme Shrine to cultivate. For the past 5 days, no one had challenged Lu Ming. However, with the help of the path understanding ancient tree, Lu Ming's comprehension of the explosive star fist had progressed very quickly. He had already cultivated it to the 4th level, and the power of the explosive star fist had increased again. On the 6th day, someone finally challenged Lu Ming. This person's combat strength was much stronger than Gang Shui's, and he had won 10 consecutive victories on the life battle platform. Clearly, Lu Ming's daily visits had attracted the attention of some experts. Some of them had come to challenge him. Of course, the final result was still Lu Ming's victory. The name of Azura was becoming more and more powerful. Although the Azura had only won 5 consecutive victories, he had already defeated 10 opponents in a row. Moreover, no one knew what Lu Ming's limit was. Do you guys think that the King of Hell will make a move and challenge the Shura? Some people hoped so. Old Monster Demonic Wind. His words aroused the curiosity of many people. Many people looked forward to the battle between Shura and Yama. This was because the two of them had a lot in common. They both wore masks, and from their voices, they were both very young and had both risen to power recently. Many people guessed that the two of them were Peerless Heaven's favorites from the outside world, and were even on the list of top 1,000 talents. However, Hell King had not appeared since the battle with Old Monster Chi Chan. In the next 2 days, when Lu Ming continued to fight, no one challenged him. Once when he challenged someone, the other party admitted defeat and gave him 1 million supreme spiritual crystals. Lu Ming, accompany me in battle. When Lu Ming returned to the inn, Xian Yanqing appeared in front of him. Accompany you in battle? Lu Ming was stunned. That's right. I've reached the threshold of the fusion of the two wills, but I'm still short of an external pressure. However, the warriors on the life battle platform are too weak to give me that kind of pressure, so I can only find you. Xian Yanqing said. All right. Naturally, Lu Ming would not reject the opportunity to help Xian Yanqing cultivate. The two of them left the city and appeared in the sky above a barren mountain tens of thousands of miles away. The two of them stood opposite each other. Boom! Xian Yanqing's will of destruction and will of wind burst out at the same time. They intertwined and turned into a green palm print, blasting toward Lu Ming. Exploding Star Fist. Lu Ming threw a punch and the void trembled. Boom! The fist radiance and the palm print collided. With a loud boom, the palm print trembled, but the fist radiance disappeared. I don't have enough strength. Lu Ming, increase your strength. Xian Yanqing's voice was heard as his aura gushed out. All right. Lu Ming activated the true War Dragon technique and the vital essence in his body began to mobilize rapidly. Boom! A fist radiance that seemed to be able to connect heaven and earth, combined with the concept of fire, blasted towards Xian Yanqing's palm. With a loud bang, Xian Yanqing's palm print exploded. However, Lu Ming did not hold back. He threw a second punch, a third punch, and a series of punches. One after another, the fist radiance pierced through the void and headed towards Xian Yanqing. Great demonic palm! Xian Yanqing shouted as he struck out with both his palms. Black palm prints that were infused with the will of destruction and the will of wind were sent flying towards Lu Ming. Boom! Boom! The void was boiling, and there were constant violent explosions in the air. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of moves. In the beginning, the two of them were still testing each other, but gradually, their strength continued to increase and increase. Lu Ming waved his fists and the speed of his punches became faster and faster. In an instant, dozens of fist gleams burst out. Xian Yanqing, on the other hand, was trying to combine the two mentalities. Yes, that's it. Xian Yanqing's eyes brightened. Lu Ming was completely at ease as he continued to bombard his fists with radiance. Xian Yanqing was strong enough to block the attack. Lu Ming was not worried that he would hurt Xian Yanqing. In the blink of an eye, 100 moves had passed. Lu Ming felt that the explosive star fist was circulating more and more smoothly. His understanding of the explosive star fist was also slowly deepening. At the same time, the exploding star fist was like a sledgehammer, continuously tempering Xian Yanqing's intent realm, causing the two intents to slowly merge. If Xian Yanqing could successfully merge the two intents, her combat strength would definitely increase by a large margin. The two of them exchanged more than 300 moves before stopping. How is it? Lu Ming walked over and asked. Yes, I'm very touched. I believe that I'll be able to make a breakthrough in a while. Xian Yanqing nodded excitedly and smiled at Lu Ming. You're helping me so much. Aren't you afraid that I'll break through and suppress you? Haha, even if you have a breakthrough, you might not be able to suppress me. Furthermore, I will also improve. In this lifetime, you will never be able to surpass me. Lu Ming laughed, feeling smug. You're so full of yourself. Humph. Let's see how I'll surpass you. Xian Yanqing's lips curled into a faint smile. Then, the two of them chatted as they walked back. For the next 2 days, Lu Ming did not go to the life battle platform. Instead, he went into seclusion to cultivate. 2 days later, a piece of news came out. Old monster Demonic Wind wants to challenge Azura on the life battle platform. The news shook the entire city. Demonic Wind was also an old monster who had lived for a long time, at least 500 years old. A few hundred years ago, he was already a peak king. Although he hadn't broken through to the Sea of Soul realm, his martial skills, secret techniques, and other aspects had reached a terrifying level. Everyone was extremely curious and excited that such a person wanted to challenge Ashura. Therefore, the news reached Lu Ming's ears very quickly. Demonic Wind, interesting. Lu Ming revealed a smile. It seems that an expert has appeared. Let's go, I'll accompany you to take a look. Xian Yanqing walked over, and the two of them walked towards the life battle stage. On the way, they changed into black robes and put on masks. The Shura is here. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, everyone exclaimed in surprise. The surroundings of the battle stage were already filled with people. After all, the Shura's name was becoming more and more famous recently, almost as famous as the King of Hell. As for Demonic Wind, he was a famous old monster in the sea near Golden Sand Island. Apart from Sea of Soul realm experts, no one would dare to offend him. The battle between the two had naturally attracted the interest of the vast majority of people. Many people had rushed over as soon as they had heard the news. Lu Ming stepped into the air and landed on the fighting ring. Countless eyes were on him. Hee hee. A shriveled sneer was heard, and a thin old man in a green robe appeared on the fighting ring. Many people did not even see how he appeared. What a fast speed. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. It was obvious that Demonic Wind had cultivated the wind concept. His speed was terrifyingly fast. Lu Ming. In the stands, Luo Xian's eyes flickered. Today, Luo Xian had also come. Similarly, Chen Dao and Chen Zhao had also arrived and were sitting together to watch. I hope Demonic Wind can kill this kid. Chen Zhao secretly prayed. You're the Shura? I heard that it's just a little kid. Don't play tricks in front of this old man. Take off your mask. The Demonic Wind old monster stood in front of Lu Ming and chuckled. If you want me to take off my mask, sure, but let's see if you have the ability to do so. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Hee hee, it's good for young people to be confident, but it's also not good to look down on seniors. After all, age isn't for nothing. As soon as he finished speaking, he disappeared. In the next moment, Lu Ming felt a strong gust of wind in front of him. A claw was grabbing at his mask. Without any hesitation, Lu Ming took a step back and retreated rapidly. Hee hee, you can't escape. Demonic wind moved again and followed Lu Ming closely, his claws reaching for Lu Ming's mask. Boom! Lu Ming suddenly threw a punch forward. At such a close distance, it was impossible for anyone else to avoid it, but old monster demonic wind dodged it with a flash. You're really ignorant. The demonic wind's voice was filled with disdain and reprimand. Is it very difficult to fuse two intents? Lu Ming smiled faintly. As soon as Lu Ming's voice fell, Lu Ming's fist momentum suddenly changed. Not only did the fist light contain the fire concept, but it also contained the thunder concept. As soon as the thunder and fire essences were released, the two essences were perfectly combined together, causing the power of the exploding star fist to suddenly increase by a large margin. Boom! Boom! The vast fist radiance pierced through the snowstorm. With a scream, a figure appeared and retreated. The fusion of thunder and fire intents, the perfect fusion of thunder and fire intents. How is that possible? How is that possible? Blood trickled down the corner of demonic wind's mouth, but he did not care. His eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. The audience was also dumbfounded. Lu Ming had also comprehended two intents and he had successfully fused them. However, the demonic wind had not. It was clear at a glance who was stronger and who was weaker. What's impossible about it? Just because you can't fuse with it doesn't mean others can't. Lu Ming said indifferently. Tell me, how did you merge them? Tell me, tell me. The demonic wind roared. His eyes were red as he glared at Lu Ming. For so many years, old monster demonic wind had tried many methods, but he couldn't succeed. It was like the demon in his heart. Even if I tell you, you won't be able to fuse it. It requires talent. Lu Ming said calmly. He wasn't wrong. In fact, he wasn't the only one who thought of that method. Others could have thought of it too, but how many people could successfully merge it? To put it bluntly, it required talent. He had this talent, and now it seemed that Xian Yanqing also had this talent. Demonic wind had been cultivating for hundreds of years, but he hadn't succeeded. He definitely didn't have this talent. However, eccentric demonic wind clearly didn't believe this. Bullshit, what talent? Brat, if you don't tell me, I'll make you wish you were dead. Old monster demonic wind roared. Old man, is there something wrong with your head? Do you still think you're my match? Lu Ming shook his head and smiled. Take my strongest move. Demonic wind roared and released his wind and snow intent. I'm too lazy to waste my time with you, I'll send you on your way. The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. Boom! In the next moment, wind, fire and thunder, the three intents burst out at the same time and turned into a spear light that was extremely bright. Old monster demonic wind's eyes were as big as bells as he roared in disbelief. Three intents fused. It was simply unbearable for him. He had spent his entire life and had not been able to merge the two concepts successfully. However, Lu Ming had merged three concepts. Moreover, he was so young. Could it really be because of his talent? Whoosh! The dazzling spear radiance pierced through the void and appeared in front of old monster demonic wind in an instant. It broke through all of old monster demonic wind's defenses with a crushing force. The long spear pierced through the heart of eccentric demonic wind. He was dead. The King of Hell appears. There was a dead silence around the fated battle platform. Everyone's eyes were wide open, staring at the battle platform and Lu Ming's figure. Demonic wind had been killed by a single strike. Lu Ming had actually fused three concepts. Was this his true strength? It was too terrifying. Or perhaps, this was not Lu Ming's true ability. After the silence, there was an intense clamor. Some people were discussing excitedly, while others were screaming in excitement. Is this his true strength? Luo Xian whispered, her eyes full of disbelief. Beside her, Chen Zhao's body trembled violently out of fear and shock. It turned out that ever since he had met Lu Ming had never revealed his true abilities. What he had seen was just the tip of the iceberg. Even though he had repeatedly provoked Lu Ming did not reveal his strength to kill him. Perhaps, Lu Ming did not even care to show off his strength in front of him. He even did not care to kill him. Perhaps in Lu Ming's eyes, he was no different from a wild dog that was barking by the roadside. He did not take him seriously at all. When he thought of this, his heart was filled with a deep sense of powerlessness. His big brother, whom he had always been proud of, would probably be defeated in one move in front of Lu Ming. In the fighting ring, Lu Ming's figure flashed and devoured the blood essence of demonic wind. At the same time, the storage ring naturally fell into his hands. Who else is there? You're willing to come up and fight? Lu Ming's clear voice spread throughout the entire venue. The entire place fell silent. What a joke. Even an old monster like demonic wind was dead. No one else would be willing to go up and court death. Lu Ming waited for 2 minutes. He swept his gaze and was about to leave the stage when he saw that no one was going on stage. The King of Hell is here. At this moment, a loud shout reverberated through the entire area. The entire place quieted down. Then, it was filled with an earth-shattering uproar. What? The King of Hell is here. Where is he? Really? Where? The main entrance, look. After some noise, everyone's eyes looked in the direction of the gate. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he looked in that direction as well. A black-robed man wearing a Yama mask walked in step by step. As he took one step after another, he slowly stepped into the void and appeared at the edge of the fighting ring. On his mask, 2 sharp eyes were looking at Lu Ming. Lu Ming also looked at him. Everyone's hearts suddenly began to race. Is the King of Hell going to challenge the Asura? It's possible. It's possible. Hell King has disappeared for so many days and he has finally reappeared. It's rare for a strong opponent to appear. Perhaps he's really going to make a move. Heavens, King Yama against Asura. Who is stronger? I'm looking forward to it. I am indeed looking forward to it. Ever since the rise of King Yama, he has never tasted defeat. He has killed a few old monsters. However, no one knows how strong Asura is. I don't think he has used his full strength to kill demonic wind. Hundreds of thousands of pairs of eyes were staring at Lu Ming and the King of Hell with anticipation. The King of Hell versus the Asura. This would be a battle of the peak. Buzz! The sound of a sword resounded. Hell King's aura suddenly increased dramatically, and his body emitted a dazzling golden light. A golden sword light shot into the sky. Boom! In an instant, a powerful aura burst out from Lu Ming's body as if he was drawn by the aura. A spear's gleam soared into the sky. Then, the sword light and the spear light met in the air and hit each other. An earth-shattering boom resounded, and the force swept in all directions. Just the clash of auras was already shocking enough. Is there really going to be a great war? At this moment, everyone held their breath and stared at it with wide eyes. However, to their disappointment, after the clash of auras between the King of Hell and Asura, they did not make a move. Asura stood on the fighting stage while Yama stood in the air. They were not fighting. This person is so strong. Lu Ming's eyes were bright like 2 divine spears that pierced through the air. He could sense immense pressure from the King of Hell. Lu Ming had never felt this way from a martial artist of the same level. The King of Hell was definitely a terrifying opponent. At the same time, the King of Hell's eyes glowed with a golden light, as if 2 golden swords were about to burst out. He did not move, for he could feel the strong pressure from Lu Ming. He was not confident either. He had a feeling that if they were to fight, one of them would definitely die. Moreover, he was not sure if he would be the one to win. Hell King was also surprised. He didn't expect to meet such a strong opponent here. Even in the entire East Continent, there were not many opponents like him. The 2 of them confronted each other for a while. Suddenly, the King of Hell's aura was retracted. At the same time, Lu Ming's aura was also retracted. Without saying anything else, Hell King turned around and went back. I don't want to fight anymore. Most of the people were greatly disappointed. They had thought that there would be a peak battle. The 2 of them are too strong. No one has the confidence to defeat the other. That's right. Without a doubt, they're both peerless heaven's favorites. Even on the list of top 1,000 talents, they won't be too far behind. They're evenly matched. Someone from the older generation spoke up and saw the reason. Many people sighed. They couldn't see a peak battle. Clang. At this moment, the sound of a bell could be heard. Clang. Before the first bell had even finished, the second one rang out immediately after. It sounded very urgent. At the scene, most of the people's faces changed drastically. Alarm! Why did the alarm ring? Someone shouted. Sea beasts attacking the island! Sea beasts attacking the island! Suddenly, an earth-shattering roar came from outside the Fate battle platform. The roar was like a storm, sweeping through the entire city and spreading to the distance. What? The sea beasts are attacking the island. At that moment, everyone's expression changed drastically. The sea beasts are attacking the island. The beast tide is coming. Everyone, head to the Eastern Sea region and snipe the sea beasts. That voice rang out again, rumbling in the air. The owner of the voice had a terrifying cultivation base, and was definitely a Sea of Soul Realm expert. Clang! Clang! At the same time, the alarm bell rang continuously in a very urgent manner. Let's go to the east. Let's go! The audience around the battle stage rose into the air like a swarm of locusts and flew toward the gap above. The sea beasts are attacking the island. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. A figure appeared beside Lu Ming. It was Xian Yanqing. Little Qing, let's go and take a look. Lu Ming said. Xian Yanqing nodded. Together with Lu Ming, they rose into the air, mixed in with the crowd, and headed for the Eastern Sea. Countless figures flew out of the city, covering the sky and earth as they flew toward the Eastern Sea. Not only in the city, but also from the mountains around the city, a large number of experts flew out and flew toward the Eastern Sea. Whenever they encountered a beast tide or sea beasts attacking the island, all the martial artists had to unite and attack together. This is a rule that has been established in the chaotic astral ocean for a long time. Otherwise, these islands would have long been ravaged by sea beasts. This city was very close to the Eastern Sea region. They arrived in less than a minute. The sea beasts attacked the city, and the transformed great demons. Boom, boom, boom. The ocean in the distance rumbled and the waves surged. Everyone stood in the air and looked from afar. They could see a white line on the sea surface surging towards them. It was a wave, a shocking wave. The patrols in the distant sea have sent back news that a large number of sea beasts are charging towards us. Prepare for battle. An old man in a plain robe appeared in the sky. His voice reverberated throughout the entire area. The aura he exuded was as vast as the ocean and extremely shocking. This was a great expert of the spiritual ocean tier. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of the waves became even more shocking. Everyone felt the sky and the earth shake violently. The huge waves were accompanied by the roars of sea beasts. The waves were getting closer and closer, and everyone's eyes widened. The waves were too shocking. They were at least 1,000 meters high and seemed to reach the clouds, washing them away. There were countless sea beasts rolling in the waves. That's the Bloodshock clan. Someone shouted. In one of the waves, everyone saw countless blood-red sharks. These sharks were extremely huge, and any one of them was dozens of meters long. They were blood-red in color and constantly roared, filled with a murderous aura. It was unknown how many of them there were. The swordfish race. The sea lion race. Tiger shark clan. Everyone saw a total of 9 sea beast tribes, divided into 9 regions, with waves rushing toward them. The number of each tribe in each region was uncountable. There were too many. Look, there are people on the waves. There's a person in the sky above every race. Someone exclaimed. As expected, there was a figure standing on the waves in each of the 9 tribes. They were walking on the waves, and the aura on their bodies was shocking. That's not a human. That's a demon that has taken form, the king of their respective tribes. Above the crowd, the Sea of Soul Realm warrior said with a serious tone. What? Shape-shifting great demons? All the shape-shifting great demons of the 9 great clans had come? How is that possible? Many people cried out in alarm. A level 6 demonic beast was equivalent to a martial artist's spiritual ocean tier. It could already transform into a human form, so it was also called a transformation-type great demon. Transformed demons each lead a clan and occupy a sea area. There are only 7 sea beast clans near our Golden Sand Island. Why are 9 here? This beast tide is too shocking. In the past, there would only be some small-scale beast tides, and very few Sea of Soul Realm beasts would appear. The scene was noisy, and some people's eyes showed fear. The rapidly approaching waves, countless sea beasts rolling and roaring, gave people a strong pressure. Boom! Boom! In the sky, figures appeared one after another, each of them exuding an ocean-like aura. Spiritual ocean tier, all of them were at the spiritual ocean tier, and there were a total of 10 of them. This made many warriors calm down a little. All the Sea of Soul Realm warriors hiding in Golden Sand Island had appeared. That spiritual practitioner Han Dao. Spiritual practitioner Han Dao has also appeared. Someone shouted. Among the 10 Sea of Soul Realm experts, there was an old man in a white robe. His aura was the most terrifying, and he was much stronger than the other Sea of Soul Realm experts. Haha, that's great. I heard that spiritual practitioner Han Dao has been in seclusion for 60 years. This beast tide has actually alerted him. With him here, we'll be much more confident. Someone saw the white-robed man and laughed excitedly. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were mixed in the crowd, looking at the sky. Golden Sand Island is really amazing. There are so many powerhouses hidden here. Chapter 662 Leveling Up in the Battle. Human die. A tiger shark that was at least 100 meters long charged at Lu Ming with its blood-red eyes wide open. It opened its mouth and 5 to 6 scimitars flew out of its mouth, slashing at Lu Ming. That scimitar was actually made from the teeth of a tiger shark and was even sharper than a 5th-grade spiritual weapon. Lu Ming could tell the strength of a peak-tier king-level tiger shark with one glance. Clang! Clang! Lu Ming's long spear swept out and sent 5 to 6 scimitars flying. A 3-colored spear's gleam burst out and shot directly into the tiger shark's head, leaving a hole in it. He killed a peak-tier king tiger shark with one move and devoured its essence blood. Lu Ming did not stop and continued to kill. Not only did he devour the blood essence of the tiger sharks he killed, but he also devoured the blood essence of the tiger sharks killed by others. His body flashed, and the blood essence of tiger sharks of all levels was constantly devoured by him. This is too good. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It had been a long time since he had participated in such a large-scale battle. For others, such a large-scale battle was hell, but for him, it was a holy land for cultivation. He circulated the devouring power of the 9-dragon bloodline on his palm, constantly devouring the tiger shark's blood essence. Of course, if a martial artist died in battle, he would not let them go. He would devour all the blood essence. He divided a part of his mind to control the 9-dragon bloodline and refine the blood essence to improve his second bloodline. Kill the one with the mask. A loud roar came from nearby, and 3 giant tiger sharks charged at Lu Ming. Whoosh! Whoosh! The seawater condensed into long spears and pierced toward Lu Ming. At the same time, there were also curved daggers that cut through the void. Lu Ming's aura surged and soared into the sky. He took a few steps and killed 3 peak-tier king-level tiger sharks. Not far away, Xian Yanqing was even more shocked. The Sky Demon Force Field was an abnormal existence in a group battle. As long as the Sky Demon Force Field covered the tiger sharks, they would be divided into several pieces without them knowing. Under the Spirit Sea, Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming were unrivaled. Buzz! A ray of Asilavira light shot toward Lu Ming at an unbelievable speed. It was also a tiger shark, but it was only 10 meters long. However, its entire body was Asilavira, and it was covered in a layer of Asilavira scales. Lu Ming subconsciously swept the long spear out. Bang! Lu Ming's long spear swept across the Asilavira tiger shark's body. It was as if it had been hit by a towering mountain. Its body trembled and it could not help but take 3 steps back. However, the Essilavier Tigershark was also sent flying by Lu Ming's whip. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's heart stirred. After the Essilavier Tigershark flew out, it was completely fine. It roared and charged at Lu Ming again. Under the Essilavier Tigershark's control, the sea water turned into all kinds of weapons. Sharp swords, long spears, long spears. There were a total of more than 100 of them, shrouding Lu Ming. This one is a mutated tiger shark. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Some demonic beasts had the bloodlines of ancient godly beasts and ferocious beasts. They were extremely powerful and much stronger than demonic beasts of the same level. Clearly, this tiger shark was a descendant. Many demonic beasts with powerful bloodlines not only had immense physical strength, but also immense demonic power. At a certain level, they could also awaken combat skills hidden in their bloodlines and possess all kinds of divine abilities. Moreover, demonic beasts and martial artists were different. The Essilavier Tigershark was sent flying like a cannonball. Along the way, it killed a few powerful Tigersharks and flew a few thousand meters before stopping. However, he wasn't dead yet. There was only a hole a few feet deep in his head. What a strong defense and such hard scales! Lu Ming was secretly surprised. The tiger shark's defense was amazing, as it was not penetrated by his spear radiance. Strong, this human's attack is too strong. Let's go! Lu Ming was shocked, but the Essilavier Tigershark was simply terrified. As soon as it stabilized itself, it hurriedly flew into the distance. If you want to leave, then stay. Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven-treading steps. His speed was unbelievably fast. He turned into a stream of light and caught up with the Essilavier Tigershark in no time. You want to kill me? Dang! Demonic beasts were already very hostile. Seeing that it could not escape, the Essilavier Tigershark's ferocity was aroused and it pounced at Lu Ming. Whoosh! What welcomed him was an extremely sharp spear. This time, it was not the spear radiance, but the tip of the corpse of the infinite dragon spear. Puchi! The infinite dragon spear pierced through the Essilavier Tigershark's head. The Essilavier Tigershark roared and stopped breathing. Puchi! Lu Ming pulled out his long spear and devoured the Essilavier Tigershark's blood essence. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. Boom! His body was covered in a blood-red light, emitting powerful fluctuations. His second bloodline was about to advance. Lu Ming tried his best to suppress the fluctuation of his second bloodline, trying not to attract attention. Lu Ming could feel that the strength of his second blood meridian was increasing rapidly. Boom! In the end, the second bloodline couldn't be suppressed anymore. It appeared above his head and 8 Essilavier rings dazzled, attracting many people's attention. Fortunately, when the second blood meridian appeared, it had already been successfully promoted. The crowd did not see the process of the promotion but only the results. They thought that Lu Ming had an 8th level king level blood meridian. Although an 8th level king bloodline was extremely shocking, no one paid any attention to it in this life and death battle. Lu Ming had never activated his blood meridian in the previous battle. Therefore, everyone thought that Lu Ming originally had an 8th level king level blood meridian. However, there was one exception, and that was Xian Yanqing. Not far away, Xian Yanqing pouted when he saw the 8 Essilavier chakras on Lu Ming's blood meridian. When this guy's second bloodline first awakened, he was only a 3rd level king. Now, he's become an 8th level king. His bloodline can actually level up. This guy is hiding a lot of things from me. Xian Yanqing muttered softly. Kill this little girl. At this moment, 2 Essilavier tiger sharks charged at Xian Yanqing. Sky Demon Force Field, Destruction Cut. Xian Yanqing shouted as he fought with the 2 Essilavier tiger sharks. After a few breaths, Lu Ming kept his second bloodline and continued to kill. The great battle was still ongoing. The ocean was a sea of blood red, with floating corpses of humans and sea beasts. On Golden Sand Island, there were more than 500,000 warriors above the level of Martial Grandmaster, and more than 50,000 warriors above the level of Martial King. However, the number of sea beasts was even greater. They were densely packed and covered the sea area that was thousands of miles long. They launched their attacks fearlessly. In the sky, the battle between spiritual ocean tier warriors also entered a state of anxiety, and it would be difficult to determine the winner in a short time. The appearance of the flood dragon. In fact, the more the battle raged on, the more disadvantageous it was for the humans. This was because there were more peak-tier king-level sea beasts than humans. Among them, there were many powerful descendants. For example, although Lu Ming could kill the Esilavir or Tigershark, it was a nightmare for other peak-tier kings. We have to kill more peak-tier king-level demonic beasts. Otherwise, it'll be more and more disadvantageous to the human race. Lu Ming swept his gaze across the entire venue. He didn't need to worry about Xian Yanqing. As long as he was in the spiritual ocean tier, Xian Yanqing would not be in danger. Lu Ming took a step and his figure disappeared. The next moment, he appeared beside a peak-tier king tiger shark. He thrust his spear and killed the tiger shark. Then, he took another step and killed the next peak-tier king tiger shark. He didn't attack the other tiger sharks, choosing to attack the peak-tier king-level ones. Hundreds of miles away, two old men were being completely suppressed by a Esilavir or Tigershark. These two old men were also two old monsters in the nearby sea area. They had lived for hundreds of years and were extremely powerful. However, even when the two of them joined forces, they were not the opponent of this Esilavir or Tigershark. They could not even break the defense of the Esilavir or Tigershark. The Esilavir or Tigershark was not afraid of death and kept attacking the two. Bang! One of the old men was hit by the tail of the Esilavir or tiger shark and was sent flying for thousands of meters. He spat out a mouthful of blood. This kind of descendant is too strong. We're not its match at all. The other old man quickly retreated. However, the Esilavir or Tigershark was in hot pursuit and could not escape at all. Don't tell me that I'm going to die in the mouth of this beast today. The old man sighed. Although he tried his best to resist, he was still hit by the Esilavir or Tigershark and spat out a large mouthful of blood. His body was constantly sent flying. I'm going to die, the old man thought to himself. However, at this moment, a black-robed figure wearing an Azura mask suddenly appeared beside the Esilavir or Tigershark. A terrifying long spear pierced through the head of the Esilavir or Tigershark. Blood splattered everywhere as the Esilavir or Tigershark was killed. Then, the figure slapped the wound of the Esilavir or Tigershark and disappeared in a flash. The old man was stunned. What a powerful attack! The old man who had been whipped away by the Esilavir or Tigershark's tail flew over, his eyes full of amazement. They couldn't break the defense of the Esilavir or Tigershark even if they tried their best, but this figure had killed it with one spear strike. This attack power was really terrifying. This man should be the rising expert on the life battle platform. His name is Azura, and I heard he's a young man. The old man in the back spoke as if he had just woken up from a dream. Heroes really come from youngsters. The old man from before sighed. Let's go. We'll go and kill those ordinary peak-tier tiger shark kings. The old man behind said. The two of them then charged toward the two ordinary peak-tier tiger sharks. The one who had killed the Esilavir or Tigershark was naturally Lu Ming. He naturally didn't know what the two old men were thinking. At this time, his target was those peak king-level tiger sharks. In just over 10 minutes, he had already killed 16 peak-tier king-level tiger sharks. What a strong power of blood essence. It's too strong. The blood essence of 16 peak-tier tiger shark kings was too strong and incomparably rich. The power of blood essence of demonic beasts was usually richer and stronger than that of humans. Lu Ming continued to kill as he refined. Fighting a great demon alone. The two water tornadoes turned into two flood dragons and collided with the cold saber spiritual practitioner's saber radiance. Both of them were destroyed. Roar! The flood dragon let out a long roar, and its jade-like blue dragon body pounced toward the spiritual practitioner Han Dao. The spiritual being Han Dao's momentum was like a rainbow, and the snow-white blade energy around him danced, as if it had frozen the space. An icy blade light slashed towards the flood dragon. The flood dragon's claw collided with the saber radiance, and the boundless energy spread in all directions, tearing the surrounding sea beasts and human warriors into pieces. "Let's go up and fight." The cold saber elder flew into the sky, and so did the flood dragon. At their level, a battle below would have too great an impact. It would affect other humans and demonic beasts. Boom, boom, boom. The battle between the ice spiritual being and the flood dragon continued all the way to the sky. However, the battle in the sea became even more intense. The sea beasts had joined the giant deep-sea snakes, and their combat strength had increased greatly, completely suppressing the humans. The most fatal thing was that the deep-sea giant snake race had two great demons at the spirit sea realm. They were too powerful, and they were like no man. With a casual twist of their huge bodies, a large number of humans were killed. The two giant deep-sea snakes charged at the humans without restraint. No one could stop them. Screams and wails of pain resounded through the air. "Retreat! Retreat quickly! We can't stop two spiritual ocean-tier great demons at all. Retreat quickly!" Someone shouted. He didn't dare to stop them and retreated frantically. As a result, the humans' defensive formation was in complete chaos. The sea beasts kept charging into the area where the giant deep-sea snake was. A large number of martial artists were killed. This time, there were far too many sea beasts. They were far too powerful, far more than they had ever been. "We can't keep Golden Sand Island anymore. We can only retreat to the other islands." "No, we've been operating on Golden Sand Island for hundreds of years. We can't just leave like this. Hold on and wait for help." There were all sorts of cries, but the morale was constantly falling. A Sea of Soul Realm demon? Lu Ming looked in the direction of the giant deep-sea snake. Then, he took a step in the air, turned into a stream of light, and sped in the direction of the giant deep-sea snake. In the other direction, a golden sword light was also heading toward the deep-sea giant snake. The speed of the two rays of light was extremely fast, and in a dozen breaths, they had already neared the two spiritual ocean-tier deep-sea giant snakes. True Dragon Strike. Lu Ming approached and thrust his spear forward. A three-colored true dragon roared and danced in the air, pouncing at one of the giant deep-sea snakes. "An ant dares to attack me? You're courting death." The deep-sea giant snake snorted and spat out a black water column toward the tri-colored true dragon. Boom! With a violent tremor, the water column and the three-colored true dragon disappeared together, but the giant deep-sea snake's forward figure was also blocked. Not far away, a golden sword light also blocked another giant deep-sea snake. It was the King of Hell. Lu Ming and the King of Hell were each facing a huge deep-sea snake. The two deep-sea giant snakes should be at the early stage of the first level of the sixth level, which was equivalent to the early stage of the first level of the spiritual ocean realm. Previously, at the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Li Xiaoyun, and Gu Huaxiu had worked together to injure the old ancestor of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy. The old ancestor was in existence at the peak of the first level of the spiritual ocean tier. During the battle with the forefather of the Cloud Sea Alchemy Academy, Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the peak level 9 Martial King realm. Now that he had broken through to the peak King realm, his combat strength had increased greatly. Since then, he had not fought with his full strength. Now, this giant deep-sea snake was just the right one. Who is it? He blocked the deep-sea giant snake? It's King Yama and Azura. Are they going to fight with a Sea of Soul Realm beast? It's possible. Their combat strength is extremely terrifying. If they can stop the two giant snakes, we'll have a chance. A martial king fighting the spirit sea? Is that possible? I don't care anymore. We can only take a risk. Let's attack and stop the other sea beasts with all our strength. Stop. The surrounding human warriors roared and organized their forces to block the other sea beasts. Azura, let's have a match and see who can kill this giant snake first. All of a sudden, the voice of the King of Hell rang out. It was very young, but it was filled with sharpness. All right, let's have a match. Lu Ming's fighting spirit was also soaring. Previously, the two of them had some apprehensions and did not fight. But now, they could use another kind of confrontation to determine the winner. However, when these words fell into the ears of the two deep-sea giant snakes, they almost exploded with anger. And, you want to kill us? Go to hell. In front of Lu Ming, the huge deep-sea snake roared angrily. It opened its mouth wide and was about to devour Lu Ming. Its tongue was like a sharp sword, shooting toward Lu Ming. Kill! Go! Lu Ming shouted. The three-colored spear's radiance revo-levered and transformed into a spear's radiance, stabbing at the giant snake. At the same time, the King of Hell was also engaged in a fierce battle with the giant deep-sea snake. Clang! The tongue of the deep-sea giant snake was like a real sharp sword. When it collided with the long spear, it actually made a sound of gold and iron colliding. Buzz! At the same time, the snake's tail swept across the void, causing a muffled explosion in the air as it whipped toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming took a step forward and soared into the sky, dodging the snake tail's attack. However, the snake tail was like a bone-attached awl. It missed its target and continued to attack Lu Ming from below. 9 dragons trampling the heavens. A dragon's roar resounded, and a terrifying power burst forth, each wave stronger than the last, bombarding the snake's tail. Boom! The snake's tail trembled as if it was bearing an unimaginable force. It continued to shake, and finally, a part of it exploded with a bang, blood splattering everywhere. The spiritual ocean tier giant snake is injured. When the other human warriors nearby saw this, they were immediately excited as if they had seen hope. They roared and charged toward the sea beasts. And you dare to hurt me? Die, die! The huge deep-sea snake curled its body and the endless sea water turned into sea snakes that pounced at Lu Ming. Exploding Star Fist. The infinite dragon spear disappeared. Lu Ming cast the exploding Star Fist. Rays of fist radiance pierced through the void and blasted downward. This time, Lu Ming had integrated 3 intents into the explosive Star Fist. It was faster and the explosive power was stronger. Boom! Boom! It was as if there were countless meteors falling, constantly colliding with the sea snakes formed by the sea water. With a loud boom, endless energy spread out. The warriors and sea beasts nearby died on the spot once they were hit. Leave, stay far away. At the place where Lu Ming and the giant snake were fighting, the other warriors and sea beasts had already left. On the other side, the battle between King Yama and the giant deep-sea snake was similar. The sword chi was everywhere, and the other warriors and sea snakes were also far away. Kill! Die! Lu Ming shouted. The fist force became more and more violent and intense. In the end, one could barely see Lu Ming punching. One could only see streams of fist radiance pouring down. Cool. It felt too good. Lu Ming's essential core was boiling and his fighting spirit seemed to be burning. This was his true battle, a battle without the slightest hesitation, without the need to suppress his true yuan. He felt that he was able to use the exploding star fist more and more smoothly. Suddenly, the fist ray trembled, and its power seemed to have increased by another level. The 5th level was that Lu Ming had comprehended the exploding star fist to the 5th level during the Great Battle. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.